Chapter 1160. Now, she could provoke anyone but Bai Xiaoye. Her mood had definitely hit rock bottom. It was understandable. She had finally mustered up the courage to come back and face Zhuo Langyue, but she didn't expect Zhuo Langyue to run away. This clubhouse had just been renovated not long ago. Zhuo Langyue didn't want to sell it, nor did she want to rely on this place to make money. She just felt that she should have a place to entertain her old friends whom she hadn't seen for a long time. Once a person reached a certain age, they would consider different things. Although Zhuo Langyue looked like she was in her early 20s and her skin was as good as a 17 or 18-year-old girl's, she was actually approaching her 50s. After all, her daughter was already 22. Now that Zhuo Langyue suddenly sold this place in such a hurry, it was obvious that she was running away from Bai Xiaoye's interrogation. She didn't dare to face it at all. "What are you doing? What's going on?" Seeing that one of their own had been kicked to the ground, more than a dozen young men, who were also wearing black suits to greet the guests who had come to offer their wedding money, surrounded them from all directions. At first glance, they saw a man and a woman, who looked like a golden couple, and then looked at their brother who had been kicked out. They couldn't help but be stunned. How much strength did this kick have to be able to kick someone so far away? "We're not here to cause trouble. Today is your happy occasion. Ask your boss to come out." "I'll leave after I ask him a few questions," Su Yun said indifferently. After all, the other party was also a businessman. He couldn't be blamed for buying this place. "Who are you? Tell us your name. Do you think you can meet our boss just because you want to? How come I don't know someone like you in Tianjing?" Among the dozen young men, one who looked more prestigious stood out and said, "You hit us as soon as you arrived and even said that you want to see our boss. Are you here to cause trouble?" According to Bai Xiaoye's current mood, she definitely wanted to cause trouble and burn this place down. Only then could she vent her anger. Su Yun was still polite. "I'm just here to congratulate your boss. Go over there and give him the red packet. Boss Zhou will thank you personally later." The young leader said, "If you continue to cause trouble here, don't blame us for. What can you do?" Bai Xiaoye said bluntly. "Wow. How could such a little girl be so arrogant? Little girl, don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you're pretty. If you keep yelling, believe it or not, we'll drag you to the back of the warehouse." Before he could finish his sentence, he fell backward with his mouth full of blood. The back of his head hit the marble floor and he was stunned. Although Su Yun's willpower was strong enough and he wanted to settle this matter peacefully, someone actually dared to humiliate his sister in front of him. This was absolutely unforgivable. Even if he were to knock out a mouthful of teeth and sew at least 17 or 18 stitches on his upper and lower lips, it would still be considered a light punishment. What a fast attack! The young leader was stunned. He didn't see what happened at all. He only saw a shadow flash and his underling was knocked down. "Is there anyone else who is itching to speak up? Let's go to the hospital to buy dentures together. Maybe the price will be cheaper." Su Yun smiled and glanced at the young leader's face. "Where is your boss?" The young leader was a young man after all. He had a big temper. To be honest, if this was any other day, even if he was worried that he couldn't win, he would still call his underlings to beat him up. At most, he would stay in the hospital for 2 days. But today was Boss Zhou's big day. He couldn't cause trouble on such a festive day. If he couldn't get out of the situation, it would be hard to say. "Brother, you're good. You have the ability. I'll go in and invite our boss now," the young leader said. "But let's put it bluntly first. You beat up 2 of my underlings. Today's matter. We'll settle it another day." "It's fine if we count it as today." Su Yun's words shut the young leader up. If he really dared to settle the score today, he wouldn't have to be so humble. The young leader was very sad in his heart. He had already told Boss Zhou to pick an auspicious day, but he insisted that it was better to pick an auspicious day. No matter what, he had to open today. Huaxia people had always been afraid of the word "for." They felt that it was inauspicious. They liked to choose 6, 8, 9 when opening for business. It meant smooth and long. They chose to open for business on the 4th day of the new year. Now, something happened. I don't know which underling I offended to give me such a special gift on my auspicious day. Before the young leader went in to report, a voice came from afar. Soon, accompanied by the voice, a burly fat man walked out. He was dressed from head to toe in branded clothes. The red Armani shirt was almost unbuttoned by his fat belly. The yellow casual pants of Zegna were also stretched by his wide hip bones. He was actually wearing a pair of limited edition Prada green leather shoes. Although he was dressed in branded clothes, the combination of red, yellow, and green made Su-Yun feel that he was like a signal lamp standing in front of him. Boss Zhou, The young leader wanted to go forward and say something. After all, if this matter was not handled well, he couldn't let Boss Zhou blame him. It wasn't his business in the first place. The signal lamp raised his hand and waved, indicating that the young leader didn't need to say anything more. He had seen it all inside. Judging from this kid's behavior of directly crashing the car into the door, he also didn't come with good intentions. Signal. No, Boss Zhou. Su-Yun almost made a mistake, but he immediately corrected himself. I really didn't come here to cause trouble for you. I just want to ask about the previous owner of this house. The signal lamp looked at Su-Yun and frowned. Suddenly, he opened his mouth wide and pointed at Su-Yun in realization. Aya, brother. It's actually you. Aya, my little brother, why didn't you say anything in advance if you were coming? I really shouldn't have come out to greet you. As he spoke, the signal lamp almost couldn't help but slap his own mouth. Fortunately, at this time, the young leader next to him foolishly moved his face closer. Boss Zhou. This. He was afraid. Just now, he had threatened Su-Yun. Now, his boss was beaming with joy at this kid. This kid was definitely not simple. The signal lamp slapped the young leader's face. Are you blind? You don't watch the news broadcast on weeknights, right? You don't even know this little brother, right? How did I educate you? Don't waste your time all day. Don't only know how to drink and hook up every night. Watching the news broadcast is good for you ignorant bastards. This is the little brother who donated the gold and jade clothes to the National Museum. Aya, F***CK. When the signal lamp said that, everyone couldn't help but exclaim. Su-Yun really wanted to bang his head and die. Bai Xiaoye, who had disguised as him to donate the national treasures, saw Su-Yun's helpless face and made a helpless expression. At that time, it wasn't her idea. It was her master who asked her to do it. No, now it should be her mother who asked her to do it. Brother. I didn't recognize Mount Tai just now. You are a big man. Please don't lower yourself to my level. The young leader almost knelt down and kowtowed to Su-Yun. The national treasures were worth nearly a few billion yuan, and he gave them to the country just like that. His family's wealth must be unfathomable. He probably drove a Cayenne to keep a low profile. Chapter 1161. Seeing that someone had already taken out his phone and was about to take a photo to show off, Su-Yun angrily rebuked, I'll slap whoever takes the photo. My portrait rights aren't something that anyone can casually spread around. If I were to sue you, everyone here would definitely sue you until your family is ruined. Everyone present believed these words. After all, the other party's strength was formidable. A rich young master who had returned from abroad. F***CK, with such an idle burden, Su-Yun was too embarrassed to curse. It was all because of Bai Xiaoye and her mother. Sigh, why did she have such an unreliable stepmother? Why was the way she handled things so unlikable? If he had known, he wouldn't have bought her the gelatin. Originally, everyone wanted to take a photo and post it on their WeChat moments, but no one dared to press the shutter button. No, definitely not. Signal Light's boss hurriedly said, Since you have spoken, no one will dare to take a photo. Come, let's go in and sit. I'm really honored that you can come to my opening ceremony to support me. Stop. Su-Yun raised his hand and made a stop gesture. I say, believe. Boss Zhou, if I'm here to congratulate you, I'll definitely bring a red packet, right? No, 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 you don't have to be so polite. Boss Zhou hurriedly said. Su Yun was speechless. I'm not being polite. I didn't prepare anything at all. I'm just here to ask you something. Let's not beat around the bush and get straight to the point. I'll leave after I'm done. Although Boss Zhou's expression was a little unhappy, he immediately restrained his feelings and said with a smile, Little brother, what do you want to ask? As long as I know, I'll definitely tell you everything. You should know who sold you this place, right? Su Yun said, What clues do you have about her? For example, where is she now? Su Yun knew very well that Signal Light definitely didn't know, but he still asked. Maybe he could get other clues from him. Boss Zhou shook his head. Little brother, to tell you the truth, I haven't seen the real face of this boss from the beginning to the end. It was all done by a little girl. I transferred the ownership yesterday and paid the full amount directly. Su Yun was immediately disappointed. After all this time, he didn't even get to see Zhuo Langyue's face. Boss Zhou scratched his head. I'm really sorry. Little brother, let's go in and sit? The tiguanyin that my friend gave me smells really good. Shall we try it? Let's go. Bai Xiaoye's mood was abnormally low. This woman who had lied to her for more than 20 years actually chose to run away after confessing everything. Was she going to run away for another 20 years? Su Yun could hear the helplessness in Bai Xiaoye's tone. Maybe she just felt that the feng shui of this place is not good. Look at this place, it's all mountains, and there's no water at all. Water makes money. Whoever lives here will suffer a loss in the end. She definitely didn't mean to sell this place. She just happened to meet a hothead. When Su Yun said this, he didn't have any intention of avoiding it at all. Although Boss Zhou, who was dressed like a signal light, heard it from the side and felt aggrieved, he didn't say anything. Obviously, he didn't want to provoke this kind of rich person. However, after hearing Su Yun's words, he also muttered in his heart because the price he paid for this place was really worth it. At most, the other party charged him the cost price, so he didn't need to worry about the renovation. At least Boss Zhou didn't have to worry about it. Can you believe what you said? Bai Xiaoye couldn't get emotional at all. She whispered and directly returned to the car. Su Yun knew that this matter wouldn't be resolved in a short period of time, so he simply took Bai Xiaoye to Qingdao to play and relax. Maybe this matter would slowly pass. Boss Zhou, you guys go ahead. In the end, Su Yun said politely, since we've encountered such a happy event, we should join in the fun. However, I really didn't bring any money today. See you later. If there's a chance, I'll definitely come and support you. Hee hee, don't mind what I said just now. The feng shui here is very good. What else could Boss Zhou say? He could only force a smile and send them off. Take care. After leaving Tianjing, Bai Xiaoye's mood seemed to have calmed down a little. Su Yun then said, Where do you think she should have gone? I don't know. Bai Xiaoye shook her head. She's always like this. After leaving a place, she will sell everything and then keep walking. When she reaches a place she likes, she will buy it and stay there. Her whereabouts are irregular. If she doesn't want us to find her, we definitely won't be able to find her. That's not necessarily true, Su Yun said. Don't worry, I will find her. She's the one who wants to escape. Why do you still want to find her? Bai Xiaoye asked back. Since she doesn't want to see me, then I won't see her. Anyway, I don't want to see her. Don't say things out of anger, Su Yun said. You'll have to face it sooner or later. No matter what, even if Bai Xiaoye didn't want to see her, Su Yun could not see her. He had to find Zhuo Langyue no matter what. Perhaps only she could resolve the doubts in his heart. No matter what, there had to be an explanation. Su Yun was still hoping to get some information from his stepmother that he couldn't pry out from other people's mouths. Brother, I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me, Bai Xiaoye said. Bai Xiaoye said, I'll adjust myself. Just like you said, everything will pass as time passes. Although she lied to me and ran away from me, I still believe that she has her reasons. Maybe she needs more time to adjust her mentality than I do before she can face me. With your words, I'm relieved. Let's go, I'll take you to my movie plaza, Soo-yoon said. I'll let you see what it means to face the sea and see the flowers bloom in spring. Bai Xiaoye looked at Soo-yoon in disbelief. Are you bragging? You'll know when we get there, Soo-yoon said confidently. Then you'll know what kind of person I am. Don't tell me you can't afford to stay in a hotel and have to stay at a friend's place and eat fast food. Bai Xiaoye pouted. Arrange something for me that can earn some money. Soo-yoon was pleased. Since you said so, how can I not arrange it? As long as you have the ability, you can be the vice president of Sky Entertainment. Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? Bai Xiaoye smiled. I can't afford to be a vice president. It's good enough that I have something to do. If I eat and sleep at your place every day, people will look down on me. Soo-yoon didn't care. You're not eating other people's food. Eat your brother's food. If your brother is willing to let you eat, who dares to say anything? I'll beat him up. It feels good to have a brother. A happy smile appeared on this girl's face. Bai Xiaoye's personality wasn't as cold as she appeared to be. The car drove all the way to Qingdao. On the way, Bai Xiaoye put away all the unhappiness in her heart and fell asleep in the car. She only opened her eyes when she heard the sound of waves crashing on the shore. She found that Soo-yoon was already driving along the coastal road. The car window was rolled down, and the slightly damp sea breeze blew on her face. It was really comfortable. We're here. Bai Xiaoye exclaimed. I thought I'd wake you up when we arrived. How was your sleep? Do you have the energy to eat barbecue at Golden Beach and drink Qingdao's special draft beer tonight? Soo-yoon smiled. Now that they were on Qingdao, he spoke with a Qingdao accent. Bai Xiaoye was looking forward to it. Of course. But let's make it clear first. Don't cause trouble just because you're in a bad mood. Soo-yoon, it's not good to mess around. If you mess around, I'll hit you in the eyes. If I hit you in the ribs, you won't dare to cover your eyes. Chapter 1162. When they got off the highway, Soo-yoon called Ruan Qingxuang and told her the good news in advance. Of course, he also briefly told her about Bai Xiaoye's situation. After learning that Soo-yoon and his half-sister, whom he met by accident, were coming, Ruan Qingxuang naturally attached great importance to it. She ordered Lin Gu to book a banquet of the highest standard at Tian Hai Restaurant and carefully dressed Guagua. Guagua expressed great enthusiasm for Soo-yoon's sudden arrival, and she couldn't wait to meet her new aunt. This is for you. Soo-yoon handed Bai Xiaoye a red packet. Bai Xiaoye took it and took a look. There was a thick stack of neatly bundled 100 yuan bills inside. She didn't need to count to know that there were 10,000 yuan. Bai Xiaoye looked at Soo-yoon in confusion. Why are you giving me this? I don't need to spend money to follow you, right? As for pocket money, I'm afraid this money can't buy anything, right? It's not for you. Soo-yoon, when you get out of the car later, you'll know why I gave you this money. Bai Xiaoye thought it was some local custom, so she didn't refuse. She put the money in her pocket first. Whether she needed it or not, she would keep it. If she didn't need it, she could treat Soo-yoon's friends to a meal or something. The road was too congested, and it took them an hour before they finally arrived at the office building of Chin Island's Film and Television Square. Ruan Qingxuang was already waiting downstairs with everyone. When she saw Soo-yoon's car, Guagua was so excited that she wanted to rush forward. Fortunately, Cho-yun reacted quickly and directly carried her in her arms, in case Soo-yoon couldn't see her and had an accident. In addition to them, Lin Gu and Fong Ye were also waiting quietly at the side. After parking the car, Soo-yoon couldn't wait to get out. Guagua was so happy that she broke free from Cho-yun's arms and threw her head into Soo-yoon's. After not seeing him for so many days, Guagua's heart was empty. Once a person developed feelings for each other, there would be something called longing. Longing was a very dazzling thing. It was like a shadow, appearing and disappearing from the bottom of one's heart. In the blink of an eye, it engulfed one in loneliness. Daddy's back. Guagua was definitely more excited than those children who were filming parent-child shows. She ran and jumped. Before Su could react, she directly grabbed Su Yun's neck. She strangled him. The smile on Su Yun's face was as relaxed as it could be. He hadn't felt this relaxed in a long time. After Bai Xiaoye got out of the car, her jaw dropped to the ground when she heard the word, Daddy. Heavens! I'm only 22 years old, and I already have such a big niece? This child is at least 7 years old, right? She didn't expect her brother to have such standards. A 25-year-old child is already so big. He just became an adult and was allowed to watch 18-rated movies, and he already has a child. Auntie. Guagua didn't hesitate to break free from Su Yun's arms and fiercely hugged the stiff Bai Xiaoye. Bai Xiaoye's stiff body instantly softened. What an affectionate little cutie. This feeling is so good. When she thought of having such a little niece, all the unhappiness in Bai Xiaoye's heart was instantly swept away. Little cutie, what's your name? Bai Xiaoye caressed Guagua's little face, which was a rare sight. My name is Guagua. After Guagua finished speaking, she turned around and glared at Su Yun with dissatisfaction. Dad, did you not even mention me to Auntie? Fortunately, Su Yun reacted quickly. I've been holding it in all this time. I just wanted to give your auntie a surprise. Okay, then I'll forgive you, Guagua said with a face full of unwillingness. However, when she turned around to look at Bai Xiaoye, her face was still as bright as a flower. She was smiling so much that her eyes were no longer there. Her little hand waved unconsciously, and her thumb and index finger also unconsciously rubbed together. This is... Bai Xiaoye looked at Guagua's fingers and suddenly understood. This child is really sneaky. She's asking for a greeting gift from me. It had to be said that this was Hua Xia etiquette. As an elder, when meeting a junior for the first time, they had to ask for a red packet. Bai Xiaoye finally understood why Su Yun gave her a red packet of 10,000 yuan. It seemed like he really didn't plan to let her spend it. He already knew what his little demon would do. In order to prevent her, who didn't have a single cent in her pocket, from losing face, he prepared a red packet for her in advance. Guagua, Auntie was just joking with you just now. Actually, your dad mentioned you to me before. As Bai Xiaoye spoke, she took out a red packet from her pocket. Auntie has already prepared a greeting gift. Take it. Guagua took the money and said embarrassedly, Auntie, you don't have to be so polite. We're family. This is a must, Bai Xiaoye said. Guagua went forward and kissed Bai Xiaoye. Thank you, Auntie. The red packet was so thick that Guagua was quite surprised. It seemed like her auntie was quite rich. Lin Gu only found out that Bai Xiaoye was actually Su Yun's half-sister after hearing from Ruan Qingshuang. He was no less shocked than anyone else. Since he had met Bai Xiaoye before, he took the initiative to introduce Fang Ya to her. Su Yun immediately introduced Ruan Qingshuang and Chou Yun to her. Bai Xiaoye looked at her sister-in-law and sighed in her heart. She was so smart and capable. She could even manage such a big company. If it were her, she definitely wouldn't know how to deal with it. Being here is like being in your own home. There are no outsiders here. If you have any needs, you must tell us, Ruan Qingshuang said very politely. As long as it's something I can do, I will do my best to satisfy you. Bai Xiaoye quickly waved her hands and said, No, no, no. I don't have any needs. It's fine as long as you don't mind me causing trouble. What trouble? We're all on the same side. Lin Ji's attitude towards Bai Xiaoye was also much better. Come in and have a seat. After resting for a while, we will go to Tian Hai restaurant to eat seafood. The seafood there is very authentic. I guarantee that you will fall in love with Qingdao after eating it once. Everyone's enthusiasm made Bai Xiaoye feel a little embarrassed. Even Chou Yun, who was not good with words, came forward and said a few heartwarming words to her. This allowed Bai Xiaoye to quickly integrate into this large group of people. Every one of them was so kind. Bai Xiaoye, who had always liked to open the way with indifference, also unexpectedly showed her other side very quickly. Dinner ended in a relaxed atmosphere. They only ate seafood, and they still had to go to the seaside to eat barbecue and drink some draft beer. Of course, they had to pretend that they were locals. They couldn't say drink when drinking beer, but ha. Otherwise, they would be easily cheated. Some unscrupulous hooligans liked to cheat foreigners. If they heard that you were a foreigner, they would directly charge you 50 yuan or 100 yuan. They would cheat you to death. However, Su Yun and the others were really not afraid of being cheated. Whoever dared to provoke them was courting death. The original order was to drink some white wine for dinner, then sing karaoke for a while and drink some beer. Then, they would find a place to soak their feet. After soaking their feet, they would find a few bars. Finally, they would call a few familiar friends to eat some barbecue and drink some beer at a seaside stall. Only then would the night be considered complete. Chapter 1163. Joy accompanied by the sea breeze quickly blew away all the previous unhappiness. Ever since Bai Xiaoye found out about her relationship with Su Yun, it was the first time she felt so relaxed. It was late at night. Everyone and Guagua went to rest. Ruan Qingxuang and Su Yun Kai sat on the sofa and got the chance to enjoy their private time. Recently, Ruan Qingxuang was really tired. After the film and television base was set up, Sky Entertainment immediately started investing in a few blockbusters. There were movies like Goodbye Someday and Big Time 3, Age of Assassins, where famous authors used the film industry to make money. There were also movies like Fierce Old Men Crossing the River that were going to be released in theaters. There was also a horror movie like Yanjing Mansion 88. Of course, Sky Entertainment also had to start creating their own sci-fi blockbusters for Huaxia. In the past, there were Avatar movies and The End of the World. Huaxia's ability to make money was very strong. In this day and age, if you didn't watch a new movie, you would be seen as not keeping up with the times. It would be embarrassing. Especially those Hollywood blockbusters, if you didn't watch them, you would be seen as outdated. It was easy for you to not be able to play happily with your friends, especially for otakus. It was hard to find a girlfriend. If you didn't watch a few movies or know a few things, you wouldn't even be able to find a female otaku. Whether or not Huaxia film and television could rise, the burden on Sky Entertainment's shoulders was too heavy. Ruan Qingxuang's schedule was packed these days. She had to talk to many people every day about investments. After such a long time, anyone would feel tired. Sister Shuang, you've worked hard. Su Yun knew how hard it was for her and wanted to share her burden. If there's any work, just arrange for me to do it. You can rest for 2 days. When Ruan Qingxuang heard Su Yun's words, she was very touched. You can still do this. However, there's someone I need you to help me with. Who? Su Yun nodded. Leave it to me. He's a producer. You'll know when you meet him. He's known as Huaxia's #1 producer and also the #1 scriptwriter. He has indeed produced many television dramas, and the viewership ratings are really quite high. But I really don't like his screenwriting and production style. This screenwriter's works often go against historical archetypes or the original novels. After I watch it, I feel that the taste is very wrong. Ruan Qingxuang said, but I don't have the nerve to refuse. After all, she is also a well-known scriptwriter. She has also made many female stars popular in her TV series. I think I can guess who he is. Su Yun smiled. Don't worry, I'll help you settle it. Huaxia didn't lack movies and TV shows. What it lacked were good movies and TV shows. To be honest, anyone could film as long as they had video recording equipment. There were also many good dramas on the internet. Wang Dachui was a typical example. The controversial Siping Youth is also quite amusing. After a pause, Su Yun continued, however, I'm the same as you. I don't like screenwriters going against historical archetypes or the original novels. This is a kind of disrespect for history and the original novel's author. He has already spread the word outside. The dramas he wrote will definitely be bought by people. He wants to cooperate with Sky Entertainment because he wants to give us face. He thinks that we are qualified and capable to give him better investment and production. Ruan Qingxuang said, "Originally, I wanted to let Sui Meiyan handle this matter, but she really can't put down her work in Northern Ji. Su Yun, it's up to you. It's a small matter." Su Yun waved his hand and smiled. "Arrange for me to meet with him tomorrow." Ruan Qingxuang nodded. "I'll get someone to arrange it for you tomorrow morning." Looking at the hands on the clock, Ruan Qingxuang said gently, "It's getting late. You should rest early. Originally, I wanted you to accompany Guagua for a few days. You just arrived and I'm already arranging work for you." After all, Sky Entertainment Group was his godfather's blood and sweat. No matter what Su Yun did, it was what he should do. He couldn't make it up to him. "Okay. Sister Shuang, you should rest early too. I'll leave by Xiaoye to you tomorrow. Su Yun, take her around. Go to the underwater world or something. I think with Guagua there won't be an awkward silence. I think your sister isn't an awkward person." Ruan Qingxuang smiled. "Don't worry. Leave her to me. Just help me reject the screenwriter and producer, and the mission will be completed." It was Bai Xiaoye's first night on Qingdao. She slept very well. The next morning, after breakfast, Su Yun proposed to meet the famous screenwriter and producer. He asked Ruan Qingxuang, Guagua, and Chou Yun to accompany Bai Xiaoye around Qingdao. Of course, he also asked Lin Gu to take good care of Fong Ye. "I'll go with you." Bai Xiaoye, on the other hand, rejected the arrangement of touring the island. She insisted on seeing how Su Yun worked. Su Yun wanted her to have fun and experience the local customs of Qingdao. "I'll take care of this myself. You go and have fun for a few days. If you want me to work at Sky Entertainment in the future, I have to go," Bai Xiaoye said. "There will be many opportunities to have fun." Seeing how persistent she was, Ruan Qingxuang helped her. "Indeed, Su Yun, I think Xiaoye is right. She has to experience it. Only after experiencing it can she gain experience. She's your sister. She will definitely help you manage Sky Entertainment in the future and be your right-hand woman. She needs to train." Bai Xiaoye looked at Ruan Qingxuang gratefully. "It's okay, Auntie. I'll wait for you and my dad to finish your work before going." Guagua nodded. Lin Gu looked at Fong Ye. Fong Ye nodded understandingly. He walked forward. "Brother, since she wants to go, you can take her. I'll drive you. You can accompany Fong Ye." Su Yun saw that everyone supported Bai Xiaoye, so he didn't say anything. However, he couldn't let Lin Gu leave Fong Ye behind. Fong Ye was very magnanimous. "Brother Yun, just let him go. You're going to have a meeting. You need a chauffeur as an assistant. He's been sticking to me for so many days. I'm annoyed with him. I just want to help Sister Shuang and Chou Yun. It's useless for him to stay. You're quite annoying." "Ha," Su Yun joked. Lin Gu shrugged. He looked at Fong Ye gratefully. He was gratified that Fong Ye was so considerate. Ruan Qingxuang had already made an appointment with the other party. They wouldn't meet at the company. There were too many things to do at the company. Ruan Qingxuang didn't want that person to come here, so they arranged to meet at a designated clubhouse of Sky Entertainment. Lin Gu drove Su Yun and Bai Xiaoye to the destination. On the way, Bai Xiaoye finally asked the question that she had been curious about the night before. "Brother, when did you meet sister-in-law? You're already so old. Why do you look so, how do I describe it? Respectful to each other." "Yes. Respectful to each other." Su Yun was surprised. "Don't tell me you treat Guagua as my biological daughter? Isn't that so?" Bai Xiaoye's mouth was wide open. That little devil really looked like Su Yun. Su Yun shook his head. "Of course not." He told Bai Xiaoye how he met Ruan Qingxuang and Guagua. Bai Xiaoye exclaimed in surprise. She didn't expect this at all. Lin Gu also laughed. If Guagua is Brother Yun's biological daughter, wouldn't he have a child at the age of 18? How is that possible? That's right. Bai Xiaoye finally understood. But even if she's his goddaughter, she's too similar to her father. She took the initiative to ask for a red packet as soon as she met him. You must have taught her that. Su Yun smiled. You know, some people might think that Guagua is a child who only cares about money. She's a girl who has the mentality of a commoner. Actually, that's not the case. I also heard from Ruan Qingshuang that Guagua has been very concerned about orphans ever since she lost her parents. She loves money, but when she accumulates a certain amount, she will think of ways to donate it to welfare institutions all over the country. Chapter 1164. As they talked, Lin Gu quickly drove to the club. Before Bai Xiaoye got out of the car, she carefully helped Su Yun adjust his collar. Actually, you look quite handsome in formal wear, Bai Xiaoye praised her brother. If it was any other day, Su Yun would definitely not dress like this. He was used to loose clothes. Even a colorless camouflage vest was 100 times more comfortable for Su Yun than this expensive shirt. However, these clothes were bought for Su Yun by Ruan Qingshuang when she was shopping with Guagua. It was quite warm for Su Yun to wear them. After all, Ruan Qingshuang was reluctant to buy herself branded clothes. If it wasn't for the company's image, and Zhuo Meiyan had picked out a large number of branded clothes for her, she would still be wearing plain clothes. However, the old saying made sense. Clothes make the man. Ever since Ruan Qingshuang entered Sky Entertainment, her temperament seemed to have risen to a whole new level. If she returned to Hadong City now, no one would be able to recognize her as the woman who sold medicinal cuisine and was bullied by hooligans. What about me? My clothes aren't cheap either. My girlfriend gave them to me. Lin Gu proudly pointed at his branded suit. He and Su Yun rarely wore branded clothes, so once he changed into this outfit, he instantly looked much better. You're just average, Bai Xiaoye said casually. Lin Gu raised his eyebrows. What do you mean? Some things are innate, right? If you don't have a good foundation, you won't be able to wear anything, Bai Xiaoye said. My brother is different. My brother is born to be a clothes hanger. That hurts my self-esteem, Lin Gu clutched his chest and said. Brother, why is your sister's tongue so vicious? I didn't do anything to her. Why would she hurt my pride? Su Yun patted Lin Gu on the shoulder. She's just telling the truth. You're overthinking it. When Lin Gu heard this, he broke down even more. As expected of biological siblings. How dare you bully me? I'm not going to play with you guys anymore. It's fine as long as my Feng Ye thinks I'm good-looking. Who cares about your opinions? The three of them chatted and laughed as they walked into the clubhouse. At this time, the famous screenwriter and producer that Ruan Qingshuang had mentioned was already waiting in the reserved room. As expected, Su Yun knew that it must be this fat guy. He had written many dramas, won many awards, and appeared on the news. Old Mao's female star was called Lady Mao, and this guy followed suit. The female star was called Lady Mao. That's right, this fat guy was Ding Zheng. As soon as Su Yun and the other two entered the room, Ding Zheng was stunned. He clearly remembered that the person he had an appointment with was Vice President Ruan. Now that Sky Entertainment's President Su Yun had suddenly arrived, he was really flattered. President Su? Ding Zheng stood up in surprise. You really surprised me. President Su is so busy every day, but you have time to come personally. It's really my honor. Producer Ding, you don't have to be so polite. Su Yun also smiled. After I heard Vice President Ruan mention you, I told her that she had to wait for me to meet Producer Ding in person. Producer Ding is young and promising, has won many awards, and has great social influence. How can I not meet you personally? It's really rude. When Ding Zheng heard this, he was overjoyed. President Su, you really think too highly of me. Vice President Ruan kept saying that she couldn't arrange a time, and I thought that your company didn't like me. It turns out that President Su has other plans. Ha ha ha, I'm flattered, I'm flattered. Come, sit, sit. Su Yun pointed at the sofa and gestured for Ding Zheng to sit. Bai Xiaoye was about to sit down, but Lin Gu secretly stopped her and whispered in her ear, "Remember your identity. You're President Su's assistant now, not his sister. Stand aside and listen carefully to learn how to handle things." Bai Xiaoye originally thought that Lin Gu was deliberately saying this because she said that his clothes weren't as good as Su Yun's. However, when she turned around and saw Lin Ji's serious expression, she believed him and obediently stood aside without saying anything. "President Su, I'm more confident now that you're here in person," Ding Zheng said. "I've been wanting to move from the TV industry to the movie industry for a long time. If we have Sky Entertainment support, I believe that we'll have a win-win situation." "Producer Ding, isn't your TV industry doing well? It can even be called the TVB of the mainland." Su Yun smiled. "Why did you suddenly think of making movies?" Ding Zheng hesitated for a while before slowly saying, "President Su, I won't hide it from you. It's not easy to make a TV industry these days. There are too many unspoken rules. The money isn't much, and I have so many people in my studio. I also need to earn money to support my family. But movies are different. Any movie can make money as long as it's in the cinema. Even that trilogy with no content and a drug addict as the male lead earned more than $1 billion, right? I'm also taller and fatter than that guy. He's a writer, and I'm a screenwriter. No matter what, I have an advantage over him in making movies." Su Yun understood who Ding Zheng was talking about, but wasn't he too confident? After all, that guy's fans were too powerful. "What kind of movie do you want to make?" Su Yun asked. "You must have a good script." "President Su, since Sky Entertainment has announced its identity as the Hollywood of the East, if we don't make a few big movies, how can we talk about the Hollywood of the East? At the very least, we should make a movie like Galactic Wars with Hua Xia's characteristics, or something like Alien Divergent. The Foreigner's Avatar is about a paradise. Let's make a movie based on Master Tao Yuanming's Peach Blossom Spring. As long as we make it in 3D, it will definitely be a big selling point," Ding Zheng said. "As for the script, it's easy. It depends on what Sky Entertainment likes. That depends on the audience, right? Su Yun, although we're investors, we can't make decisions based on our personal preferences." "That's easy. School hasn't started yet. For example, the animation industry. How to Train Your Dragon 2 is here to make money. Sky Entertainment also wants to make animations and make Hua Xia Animations rise. Dragons originally belonged to Hua Xia. When it comes to dragon taming, Third Prince Neza is the founder. With Monkey Bro as the main characters, we can make a taming dragon movie," Ding Zheng said confidently. F*CK. Lin Gu rolled his eyes. He couldn't take it anymore. King ruined Master Jin's Invincible East, and now you're going to ruin everyone's childhood idol, eldest senior brother? This second junior brother of yours is too ruthless, isn't he? Su Yun smiled but didn't say anything. It wasn't good to be too direct. "Actually, I don't think making a movie is as simple as making a TV show." Su Yun smiled. "It doesn't matter if you use some borrowed techniques in a TV show. Even if people see through it, it doesn't matter if you explain it. You don't have to take any responsibility. At most, you'll be scolded by people online. Who knows, it might even increase your popularity." "Director Su, what do you mean? Are you saying that I, Ding Zheng, plagiarized? That's all slander on the internet." When Ding Zheng heard this, he felt a little embarrassed. He didn't expect Sky Entertainment's Su Yun to be so direct. Su Yun smiled. "Producer Ding, you don't have to be so sensitive. That person who isn't as tall as you and isn't as fat also fell into the trap of plagiarism. Besides, I'm not saying that you plagiarized. I'm just borrowing, that's all." "That's right, sometimes you need to borrow." Ding Zheng swallowed hard. "Good things should be shared. For example, if you're making a TV show, you can't be the first to film and I can't do it, right? Love scenes can be found in any TV show or movie. You can't say that this is plagiarism, right? This is borrowing. This is called diversifying the plot. Only in this way can the entire TV industry flourish. Director Sue, you're in this industry, so you definitely know more than me. Chapter 1165. Mr. Sue, that's not interesting. How can that person make a movie? Ding Zhang said, didn't he also make a lot of money? I think that the trilogy was more interesting than The Queen Wears Prada. Isn't that fine? Mr. Sue, I'm here for a win-win situation. I won't let Sky Entertainment make a loss. So, Producer Ding, are you going to make a Peach Blossom Spring version of Avatar, or a Journey to the West version of Dragon Taming Master? Su Yun rubbed his chin. Ding Zhang said righteously, that's not what I meant. I'm just saying, I still want to be original. My screenwriter is my own blood and sweat. It's different from that person. Bai Xiaoye almost couldn't help but interrupt. The pot calling the kettle black almost came out of her mouth. Luckily, she was stopped by Lin Ji's gaze. Although everyone understood some things, they were all in the same industry. It would be rude to say it out loud. Su Yun nodded. I understand what Producer Ding means. However, if Sky Entertainment invests, we do need to focus on profits. After all, a company is to make money. But since Sky Entertainment wants to be the Hollywood of the East, we need to make something unique. To be honest, I don't really like some of the recent films. We need something independent that can enter the international market. Also, it can make our actors into international superstars. If it weren't for the fact that Sky Entertainment Group was so rich that they could build a Hollywood-level Qingdao Film Plaza, Ding Zhang would have retorted without hesitation, don't you know how much wuxia movies can do? But he didn't dare to say that out loud. If he did, he wouldn't be able to continue working with Sky Entertainment. No matter how good their relationship was in the same industry, some things were mutual. Titanic, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, Harry Potter, these high box office movies must have a good story behind them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have achieved such terrifying box office numbers, Su Yun said. Of course, if you say these foreign films, you might be looking down on us. I think Shaolin Temple, from 1982, is the real legend. Ding Zhang was stunned. What do you mean? What I mean is very simple. The 1982 Shaolin Temple, in that era, had a box office of more than 100 million. In this era, it's probably enough to kill the Titanic, right? Su Yun. It's precisely because his stories are good and attractive that people from that era went to watch them. In that era, there were probably many people in the Huaxia who couldn't afford to eat. Watching movies wasn't as common as it is now. Many people can't afford to pay 10 cents for a ticket. In the countryside, people want to see the kind of open-air white cloth. Producer Ding, you have also experienced that era, so you should know. Unlike now, where each ticket cost 50 or 80 yuan. What do you think? Ding Zheng's eyes rolled. Since that's the case, then let's work on this. If the Titanic can be made into 3D to make money, then why can't the Shaolin Temple be rearranged and also use 3D technology? That way, the box office sales will definitely. Classics can't be copied. It needs to be created. Su Yun didn't wait for Ding Zheng to finish. He directly said, if there's a good script, Sky Entertainment will definitely film it. Ding Zheng's heart felt uncomfortable, but he couldn't say anything. Mr. Su, then what kind of script do you think is suitable? What kind of script has the characteristics of the Huaxia and can be compared to those sci-fi blockbusters in Hollywood? It's very difficult to surpass the Titanic. If the global box office sales can exceed $300 million, then it's a success. Box office sales are easy to say, but difficult to do. Su Yun, even if we use all the A-listers in Sky Entertainment, it's not easy to achieve $300 million in box office sales. We also need a good script and story. Su Yun kept repeating the same thing over and over again. The topics he talked about were all about good stories and good scripts. How could Ding Zheng not feel that this Mr. Su obviously looked down on him? He didn't have confidence in his script. But Su Yun didn't say it directly, so Ding Zheng couldn't say it himself. That would be slapping his own mouth. He felt like he had to suffer in silence. Okay, Mr. Su, I've already said what I think. If you don't think it's suitable, then I have nothing to say. Ding Zheng said, but I still want to give you a piece of advice. Making money is the goal. Su Yun didn't agree with him. Sky Entertainment already makes enough money. Making Huaxia movies rise is the goal. How can Sky Entertainment produce so many movies of average quality? Ding Zheng asked. May I ask, which movie is average quality? Su Yun asked back. Sky Entertainment's movies, no matter how bad, can still exceed 100 million renminbi in box office sales? They won't lose money. Although making Huaxia movies rise is Sky Entertainment's goal, it doesn't mean that Sky Entertainment doesn't need to pay its employees. I also need to support so many people. Ding Zheng asked, I'm here to talk about cooperation with Mr. Su because I want to help you support so many people in Sky Entertainment. Su Yun hurriedly said, Thank you, thank you. I'm very grateful for producer Ding's good intentions. As long as there's a good script, we can definitely work together. But there's something I want to say first. Producer Ding, I know you're a good screenwriter, but I'm afraid Sky Entertainment doesn't have the courage to do some scripts that borrow too much from others. Ding Zheng nodded. I'm not that kind of person. Producer Ding, Mr. Su still has other things to do. How about this? We'll contact each other again when there's a good script. Lin Gu continued, Mr. Su came to see you personally to show his sincerity. Producer Ding, you also need to show your sincerity, right? Sincerity is to let you have a good script, not to make money by putting together a movie. Lin Ji's words had a hidden meaning. This was the perfect time for him to speak. The two of them didn't have anything to talk about. Su Yun needed to leave and let him think on his own. Bai Xiaoye didn't quite understand. After Lin Gu finished speaking, he glanced at her. He wanted to tell her that these words should be said by her, the assistant, and not by him, the driver. Ding Zheng didn't have anything else to say. Mr. Su, you're so busy every day. I'm really honored that you took the time to meet me. Since that's the case, I won't disturb you any longer. If there's a chance, I'll definitely bring the best script to Sky Entertainment and to Mr. Su. Su Yun smiled and nodded. He got up and left the club with Lin Gu and Bai Xiaoye. Ding Zheng and his assistant were left alone in the room, smoking unhappily. This Chairman Su looks young, but he's quite ambitious. Brother Zheng, it's not like we don't have a place to shoot. Why are we begging them? The assistant said unhappily. He didn't dare to say anything because the other party's aura was too strong. Now that they were gone, he couldn't help but curse. Ding Zheng glared at him. What do you know? What do you want? Reputation. My reputation has been ruined because of what happened before. Look at how many people are scolding me online. People are famous because they like more people than they scold. What about me? I'm the one who has more people scolding me than liking me. I want to change. I want a movie to prove it. If I can work with such a big company, I'll be able to make a comeback. Let those who slander me go to hell. The assistant didn't say anything. He was a little resentful. Even when writing a TV show, he still needed reference. This movie script definitely needed reference, too. If he didn't get it right, wouldn't he end up in a worse state? However, the young and promising CEO of Sky Entertainment Group was quite arrogant. He directly shut Ding Zheng out of the door. To put it bluntly, he really looked down on Ding Zheng. But because he was in the industry, he had nothing better to do. He wanted to take a look at Ding Zheng so that Ding Zheng would stop harassing Sky Entertainment and find another company. For someone with such a bad reputation, any film company would have to think twice before working with them. They weren't like the TV stations that had high ratings. He was scolding people. If he didn't copy the script, it wouldn't look good. If he copied the script, no one would watch it. The film company wasn't a philanthropist. They wouldn't do such a bad deal. Chapter 1166. Su Yun did this because he wanted Bai Xiaoye to learn from him. This was the most peaceful way to handle this kind of matter. Bai Xiaoye had grown up with Zhuo Langyue since she was a child, and her temper needed to be honed. That was why Su Yun handled it this way. If Su Yun and Ruan Qingxuang were here, with Ruan Qingxuang's gentle personality, Su Yun would definitely use another method to make Ding Zheng scram. Everyone had their own personality, and they had to adjust their weaknesses. Perhaps Bai Xiaoye didn't know about Su Yun's painstaking efforts, but as her elder brother, Su Yun had to say this. Lin Gu could tell that Su Yun had indeed put in a lot of effort for this younger sister of his. After dealing with Ding Zheng's matter, Su Yun told Lin Gu to go back as soon as possible. The weather was so clear today, and the sea breeze was so refreshing. After returning, they would bring everyone to Qingdao for a day trip. They would tour the underwater world and Binhai Avenue. After that, they would go to the depths of the countryside to have a sumptuous farmhouse meal. They would have chopped firewood chicken, steamed crabs, and fried clams with dried chili. However, when he pushed open the door to Ruan Qingxuang's office, Su Yun instantly felt an ominous premonition in his heart. Lin Ji's expression also changed drastically. Only Bai Xiaoye, who didn't know anything, lowered her head and walked into the room. She only looked up when she bumped into Su Yun's arm. There was only one person in Ruan Qingxuang's office. A person with a gloomy aura was sitting in Ruan Qingxuang's office chair with his back facing them. A person who dared to face his opponent with his back facing them must be very confident in his own strength. There was no doubt about this. "Who are you?" Su Yun asked coldly. Since this person could sit in Ruan Qingxuang's office so brazenly, something must have happened that Su Yun didn't want to happen. Ruan Qingxuang, Guagua, and the others were no longer present. However, since the other party had left someone behind, it meant that there was a problem. At least it could be determined that Ruan Qingxuang and Guagua were not in danger now. Otherwise, the other party would not have stayed behind to wait for Su Yun to return. The other party wanted to negotiate, and Ruan Qingxuang and Guagua were the other party's bargaining chips. "Mr. Su, you're doing very well. There's no need for a nobody like me to announce my name." The gloomy guy turned around after he finished speaking, revealing a face that made people feel intimidated just by looking at it. Using the word "extremely ugly" to describe him was simply the most appropriate. Black bean-sized eyes grew on a flat face. His nose was arched to the sky, and his thick lips were like two sausages hanging on it. A pair of protruding ears were so small that they were smaller than the lid of a mineral water bottle. The length of his hair was uneven, like a baby with calcium deficiency pillow baldness. F***CK. Su Yun really wanted to ask this guy, "Didn't your mother tell you that it's okay to be ugly, but don't come out to scare people?" This was simply disfigurement. It wasn't normal ugliness at all. Su Yun dared to say that this guy was definitely the ugliest person he'd ever seen. The sausage mouth squirmed a bit. "Let's get straight to the point." "That's best," Su Yun said. He didn't want to talk for too long in front of such an ugly face. "However, let me remind you first. In China, kidnapping is a serious crime." "Ha ha ha. I know," Sausage Mouth replied. "Murder is also a serious crime in the US. But Mr. Su, you didn't hesitate." Su Yun's face changed. Ever since he saw Sausage Mouth, he had been wondering who this guy was. But he never thought that this guy could be Randolph's man. But Sausage Mouth's words confirmed that this guy was sent by Randolph. Su Yun had not offended anyone other than New York Shark in the US. Those hooligans like the Wolf of Seattle were not worth mentioning. Even if they were beaten to death, they wouldn't be able to find him in Huaxia so quickly. Also, Su Yun had only thrown those hooligans into the trash can. But if this guy was Randolph, he was too fast. On the day that Su Yun and the rest escaped, Randolph would have been arrested by the US government. It would take at least a day for him to be arrested. Even if Randolph started patrolling the next day, with Su Yun's identity, he wouldn't be able to find them in Qingdao on the fourth day. Randolph was indeed the godfather of the Gambino family. This speed caught Su Yun off guard. Although Wan Guangxiao had given Su Yun a hint, Su Yun felt that no matter how powerful Randolph was, it would take at least half a month to find him. Obviously, Su Yun only thought of Randolph's ability and didn't think of his own influence. It was too easy to find out about Su Yun now. Ever since Bai Xiaoye pretended to be him and appeared on the news, people on the internet started to research him. Soon, his identity as the boss of Sky Entertainment Group was discovered. People who don't go online usually don't know about him. For example, Boss Zhou and his subordinates from Tianjin. People who go online often know about Su Yun. That's why Randolph didn't spend much time investigating Su Yun. He was released on the second day of his tea session at the relevant government department. On the third day, he came to Huaxia and spent a day gathering a few experts to start his revenge plan. Since Su Yun was the boss of Sky Entertainment Group, Randolph brought his men to the Qingdao Film Plaza. It was easy for him to control Ruan Qingshuang and the rest. If Su Yun knew about his influence, he wouldn't have made such a mistake. "You are sent by my godfather," Su Yun said. "Just tell me what you want." "What do you want me to do?" Sausage Mouth smiled, and his eyes disappeared. "My godfather admires you. When you come to New York, you are like a ferocious dragon crossing the river. Once you are out of control, you even crippled his favorite subordinate. However, he also wants to tell you that when he comes to Huaxia, he is also like a ferocious dragon crossing the river. He will repay you the same way you treated him." "May I know who you are? Why haven't I seen you in New York?" Su Yun was a little confused. Randolph wanted to be a ferocious dragon crossing the river, but as a local, Su Yun didn't agree. Sausage Mouth waved his hand. "I am not from the Gambino family. I am only paid to solve problems. My godfather came to Huaxia and hired me with a large sum of money. I have to do things for him. But then again, I personally admire Mr. Su. If it weren't for this incident, we might still be friends." Lin Gu was a little impatient. "You are not staying here to make friends. Speak. What do you want? I am warning you, if any of them are hurt, you will be the first to die." What a big tone. It seems like you are not a simple person. Sausage Mouth said, "I indeed didn't expect to meet Violent Fox Supreme Cho Yun here. However, she is still too inexperienced. Ha ha ha. Young man, if there is a chance, we will definitely learn from each other. Why do you talk so much nonsense?" "Where are they?" Bai Xiaoye's murderous aura surged. Sausage Mouth was stunned. He could feel it and said, "Miss, you are not weak. May I know which sect you are from?" Su Yun thought to himself, "If I tell you, you will be scared to death. This is the Empress's daughter. Although there are many people in the underground world who don't care about their lives, no one is foolish enough to provoke Zhuo Langyue." However, Su Yun felt that he could handle this matter. If he mentioned Zhuo Langyue, it would be like using a cannon to kill a mosquito. "This is between me and Randolph. Don't involve others." Su Yun said, "Where is he? I will go and meet him." Chapter 1167. Su Yun smiled and said, "I can say the same thing to you." Sausage Mouth glared at Su Yun and said, "It's okay if you say that to Randolph, but to me, I don't think you have any advantage. You are the local bully in front of Randolph, but to me, we are all the same. My friend, some words will hurt your pride." Su Yun was patient enough, but he didn't know where Ruan Qingshuang and the others were taken by Randolph. He couldn't keep his patience for long. "You're left here, which means you're the most useless one among all of you. To put it bluntly, your death is not worth it. I suggest you don't challenge my patience." Sausage Mouth was indeed a person who was left behind to leak information. Even if he died, the moment he was criticized by Su Yun, the displeasure in his heart was still very strong. "I'm useless? Humph. I'm still more useful than your violent foxmaster. Bah. Violent fox master? You can't even survive 10 attacks from me. She didn't expect this guy to be so strong. After all, Cho Yun wasn't weak either. Although she couldn't break through to become a super master because of the influence of Guagua in her body, she shouldn't lose to Sausage Mouth, right? Then let me see what you can do, ugly thing. Bai Xiaoye had been restraining herself, but this fellow was too annoying. Listening to his chatter made her feel annoyed and frustrated. As soon as she finished her words, Bai Xiaoye dashed to Sausage Mouth. Bai Xiaoye, who was about to throw a punch, was disgusted when she saw the mouth up close. She stopped and pulled back her fist. However, she had no intention of forgiving Sausage Mouth. She suddenly stopped her punch, but a tricky kick suddenly went for Sausage Mouth's chin. The whole process was smooth without any hesitation. Sausage Mouth wanted to say something, but he found that he couldn't dodge at all. Bai Xiaoye kicked Sausage Mouth's chin, and Sausage Mouth was thrown back with his chair. The chair hit the ground with a loud noise. Bai Xiaoye's kick just now was merciless. Based on Sausage Mouth's arrogant attitude, she really thought that he was at least a super expert. However, it was impossible for a super expert not to be able to dodge at this speed. After all, Bai Xiaoye had changed her move midway and was slightly hesitant. Sausage Mouth crawled up with his mouth full of blood. His eyes widened as he looked at Bai Xiaoye, who suddenly attacked him. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. He didn't even dare to imagine that this woman was so powerful. Even the protagonist in front of him, Su Yun, did not think that he could be so powerful. This fellow's lips were already extremely swollen to begin with, and now they were bloody from Bai Xiaoye's kick. It was like a pig's intestine had just been dug out from the gutter and didn't even have time to wash it. Bai Xiaoye was really afraid of dirtying her shoes, so she didn't dare to kick a second time. "Grandson, is that all you've got? How dare you say that you can beat Fox Venerable?" Lin Gu glanced at this good-for-nothing with disdain. His bragging is so unreliable. To be able to defeat Fox Venerable Cho Yun within 10 moves, he has to be at least a super expert rank 2 or above. Judging from this fellow's ability, it would be good enough if he was at least a first-rate rank 2. How could he defeat Cho Yun within seconds? It was already good enough that he wasn't instantly killed by Cho Yun. When Sausage Mouth heard Lin Ji's question, he was instantly displeased. "What do you mean? Are you saying that I'm bragging? Let me tell you, Cho Yun was defeated by me. I crippled her within 10 moves." Although Bai Xiaoye couldn't bring herself to do anything to his horrifying face full of bloody intestines, it didn't mean that Lin Gu couldn't bring himself to do it. Lin Gu called Cho Yun's sister in front of her seriously. During the past few days on Qingdao, Cho Yun had taken care of Fong Ye even more. Fong Ye even told him that before he came, she and Cho Yun went for a stroll on Taitong Pedestrian Street at night. They bumped into a few local hooligans who came over to tease them. Without saying a word, Cho Yun slapped the hooligans until their teeth fell out. They knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. "Don't hit me anymore, I'll be a good person in the future." Sausage Mouth actually dared to talk about Cho Yun like that in front of him. How could Lin Gu let him go? Before Sausage Mouth could finish the word cripple, Lin Gu stomped on his front teeth. Lin Ji's speed wasn't any slower than Bai Xiaoye's. Sausage Mouth might have sensed Bai Xiaoye's attack earlier, but this time, he didn't even have time to react. He swallowed his front teeth into his stomach. Bai Xiaoye kicked out 4 of Sausage Mouth's teeth, and Lin Gu kicked out another 4 of his front teeth. This time, Sausage Mouth's breathing sounded like the wind. Cough, cough. Sausage Mouth choked on his own blood and backed away. He waved his hands and said, "Envoys aren't killed when 2 countries are at war. I'm here to deliver a message. You don't have to be so ruthless." Sausage Mouth finally realized a serious problem. He had indeed underestimated his opponent. Boss was right. A guy who could force Godfather Randolph of the Gambino family to come all the way to Huaxia was definitely not simple. Sausage Mouth didn't believe it at first, so he tried to act tough. However, before he could act tough, his teeth were smashed out. He wanted to cry but had no tears. He even had the urge to die. Tell me what you want to say while your tongue is still in your mouth. I won't hold it against you, Su-yun said. It's your people who treated you as cannon fodder. It's not your fault. Su-yun was trying to drive a wedge between them. If it was someone smarter, they might be able to tell. However, Sausage Mouth's IQ was obviously average. He would probably kick up a fuss after this and ask his boss what was going on. Why did he have to be cannon fodder? What was his difference compared to the others? I'll talk, I'll tell you everything. Sausage Mouth was getting more and more annoyed at himself for asking for trouble. He didn't even need to be tortured to force a confession out of him. He just pretended that he was being tortured. They said that they will be waiting for you at Old Number 5 Pier on Qingdao at midnight tonight. You'll know when you get there on time. 12 o'clock at night? Su-yun frowned. This was the rhythm of a dark and windy night for murder. Sausage Mouth nodded. Yes. Midnight tonight. 3 watch periods. Who doesn't know that it's 3 watch periods at midnight? I don't need you to remind me. Do you think you're smarter than the others? Lin Gu really wanted to give him another kick and stomp on the remaining teeth in his mouth. That way, he wouldn't be able to speak like a human when he was fed. Sausage Mouth wanted to retort but didn't dare to. He swallowed his anger and secretly glared at Lin Gu. Go back and tell Randolph that if he dares to touch any of them, I, Su-yun, will make sure he can't leave the mainland alive. Su-yun didn't look like he was joking at all. If you're a man, don't play dirty. Taking a few women to threaten me is not something to be proud of. You're the godfather of the biggest mafia family in New York. How could you do such a despicable thing? Sausage Mouth nodded hard, but he knew that he couldn't tell that to the beautiful woman. First, he didn't speak English. Second, even if he did, he wouldn't be able to get in touch with the godfather. If he told that to his boss, he would definitely be scolded to death. Get out of here, Bai Xiaoye said angrily. Looking at such a disgusting thing made her upset. Midnight. There were still more than 10 hours to go. Su-yun was furious when he thought about it. If Randolph dared to hurt Ruan Qingshuang and the others, he would pay him back 10 times more. Lin Gu was also very annoyed. He felt bad that Fangya was involved in such a dangerous thing. Chapter 1168. What should we do now? Bai Xiaoye looked at Su-yun helplessly. There are still over 10 hours. Su-yun shrugged helplessly. We can only wait. Anything can happen in the next 10 or so hours. Brother, are we really going to just wait like this? Everyone knew how anxious Lin Gu was. Su-yun sighed helplessly. Since they left someone behind to talk, it means that they won't act rashly. Don't worry, I know very well who Randolph wants. We should do something, Lin Gu said. They found us so quickly. That's too fast, Bai Xiaoye said. What kind of background does Randolph have? Even the American government can't catch him. Lin Gu said with a sigh, ever since Gambino's godfather, other than the previous godfather who was set up by the American government and ended up in jail, the other members of the Gambino family have been more scheming than the last. They're all ruthless people who don't leave behind any evidence that can be used against them. It's difficult for the American government to imprison him. Su-yun nodded. Lin Gu is right. The American government can't imprison him. Randolph is an old fox who's proficient in psychology. He understands the government's thoughts and knows what they want. That's why the government can't do anything to him. What method did he use? Bai Xiaoye's curiosity was completely piqued. Only he knows. Su-yun smiled and said, Now, let's think about our own matters. Since that ham sausage is a first-rate expert, he should have some reputation in the underground world, right? Lin Gu and Bai Xiaoye nodded. Ham sausage should have some reputation. After all, he was a first-rate expert. Although there were many experts in the underground world, most of them were unable to become first-rate experts. Although first-rate experts couldn't compare to Su-yun, who was at the Grandmaster realm, they were still reputable figures. Do any of you know? Su Yun asked. Right now, he needed to know more about his enemy. Bai Xiaoye and Lin Gu had fought earlier, so the other party definitely knew about them. However, Su Yun didn't know anything about the other party. The person that Su Yun was talking about was not Randolph, but someone that Randolph had invited from Huaxia. This was what he wanted to know the most. In the end, who was the local tyrant? If Su Yun didn't even know the other party's face, then it would be really difficult to figure out. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will never be defeated. Lin Gu expressed his understanding. Bai Xiaoye looked at Su Yun and said, instead of asking us who that ugly man is, you might as well ask your friends in Beijing's Pan Garden. That's right. Ma Sana, the all-knowing man in ganghood, would definitely know. Although your friend looks unreliable, he seems to be quite reliable when it comes to doing things, Bai Xiaoye said. You can ask him. He's much more reliable than us. Su Yun didn't say anything else and took out his phone to make a call. Ma Saner's legs trembled when he received Su Yun's call. Brother, can't you stop? I'm just a small businessman, and I can't stand you tormenting me like this. Why do you dislike me so much? Su Yun said, I'm just asking you something. I won't trouble you. I'm just asking about someone. Ma Saner calmed down when he heard that. Brother, tell me, who is it? Su Yun controlled his disgust and began to describe sausage mouth, black bean eyes, protruding ears, and even smaller than a bottle cap. All right, I got it, Ma Saner interrupted Su Yun. Only the clown can be this ugly in the underground world. F***ck off, don't talk nonsense with me, Su Yun said. Ma Saner immediately became serious. Who's talking nonsense with you? I'm telling the truth. That guy's name is Gu Lin. He's called the clown because he's ugly. However, I don't think he deserves to be called the clown. He's a complete clown. The clown is cute, but he has nothing to do with being cute. Stop talking nonsense. Tell me more about him, Su Yun said. Ma Saner finally stopped talking. He's with Wei Yishan from Zhonghuai. You must know Wei Yishan. He's the awesome Maitreya Buddha. What the F***ck? Randolph, you're really ruthless. Su Yun was surprised. Interesting. He just arrived at Huaxia, and he can find Wei Yishan for help. Not simple. Brother Yun, why are you asking about that guy? Do you have something to say? Ma Saner said. If you have something to say, I suggest you change your approach. Don't look for him. If you see him, he'll scare you again. I heard that he's the nemesis of children since he was young. The adults in the neighborhood would scare the children by saying, if you're not obedient, I'll let you be friends with Gu Lin and play with him. The children would stop crying and become as obedient as cats. Su Yun didn't have time to listen to Ma Saner's complaints. He thanked him and hung up. Brother, what's the situation? Lin Gu noticed that Su Yun's expression changed. Su Yun raised his eyebrows. That guy is Wei Yishan's man. Really? Lin Gu was also surprised. Randolph just arrived at Huaxia, and he's already connected with Wei Yishan's men? He's even connected with Wei Yishan? I'm also surprised. Su Yun said, it seems like it's going to be a little tricky. Wei Yishan's subordinate, Crazy Bear, isn't easy to deal with. Bai Xiaoye was stunned. Crazy Bear? He has an animal? He's alone. Lin Ji's expression changed slightly. His name is Xiong Feng, and he's Maitreya Buddha Wei Yishan's #1 warrior. His strength can't be underestimated, and he's always unpredictable. He's hard to deal with. He's alone. Bai Xiaoye didn't think too much about it. It seems like Randolph won't give up until he gets what he wants. Su Yun smiled bitterly. But since it's already here, we can only deal with it as it comes. Lin Gu looked at Su Yun seriously. Brother, do you know what I admire the most about you? I admire your drive. Young man, you should learn from my brother. You're still too young. Bai Xiaoye tried to use her liveliness to ease Su Yun's heavy heart. The person they were facing was very difficult, and Su Yun was under a lot of pressure. Xiaoye, don't participate in tonight's matter, Su Yun suddenly said. Bai Xiaoye slammed the table. Why? Who am I? You are. Who am I to you? Bai Xiaoye asked aggressively. My sister, Su Yun replied directly. Since I'm your sister, then your matter is my matter. I can't not go. If you think 3 people are too much, then don't let Lin Gu go. Bai Xiaoye was very stubborn. It was impossible for Lin Gu not to go. He shook his head like a rattledrum. Then I have to go. Bai Xiaoye said, don't tell me you're afraid I'll be in danger. If it's not dangerous, I won't go. Su Yun knew that this girl was as stubborn as him. Once she decided on something, she wouldn't change her mind no matter what. Okay, then listen to my orders, Su Yun said. If something bad happens, you have to promise me that you'll be able to escape. If something happens to you right after your mother handed you over to me, I won't be able to sleep peacefully even in my coffin. Bai Xiaoye poked Su Yun's chest. Can't you be more auspicious? What coffin? Chapter 1169. Bai Xiaoye snorted. I don't care about the coffin. You're my brother. Even if there's danger, we'll die together. Sister, can you not jinx it? Lin Gu rolled his eyes speechlessly. Are you trying to recite the song, The wind is rustling, the water is cold, the warrior has left and never returned? Don't exaggerate. So what if the other party is Wei Yishan? They offended us first. That was right. So what if it was Wei Yishan? No matter how violent his mad bear was, it wasn't impossible to deal with him. Especially Bai Xiaoye. She had never been afraid of anyone. She dared to follow Su Yun into New York empty-handed and without a single cent in her pocket. What was there to be afraid of? That's right. At most, we'll fight it out with them tonight. It's not like I can't do something like sacrificing 800 to kill 1,000 enemies. Su Yun smiled. Maybe Wei Yishan isn't as powerful as we think. Most of the things about him are just rumors from the underground world. We'll kill anyone who stands in our way. Catching little ghosts in front of the King of Hell's temple, they are the ones who are tired of living. Lin Gu rubbed his palms together. However, this comparison didn't seem to be appropriate. The King of Hell didn't sound good, and neither did the ghosts. Ruan Qingxuang was quietly taken away under the eyes of the people in the film studio. The people in the company didn't know about it. Even if something happened, Sky Entertainment Group still had to operate normally. Many things couldn't be carried out without the boss's authorization. Since time was not up, there was nothing she could do. In order to divert her attention, Su Yun started to work on the Sky Entertainment Group. Although Bai Xiaoye was a little absent-minded, she had to admit that this was the best way to kill time. At first, Lin Gu was restless, but when he saw how calm Bai Xiaoye was, he tried his best to relax. Controlling his emotions was a task that he had to complete before tonight. He believed that Sister Frost and Cho Yun were both experienced people. They would not panic because of this. Fong Yu would definitely be influenced by them and be strong enough to wait for them to appear. Although Su Yun had been busy the entire afternoon, his mental strength was also somewhat unable to concentrate. He had thought many times that if there was really no other way, would he really have to use Gu Gualong to exchange for someone? Obviously, Su Yun was immediately frightened by his own thoughts. After Gu Lin escaped from Sky Entertainment's film studio, he immediately rushed back to his master's side. Wei Yishan was a middle-aged man with a dignified aura. His tall and sturdy figure and full temples showed that he was a top-notch expert. Seeing Gu Lin return in such a sorry state, Wei Yishan's expression changed. He had only left behind a message. Did the other party need to be so ruthless? One had to know that Wei Yishan was very polite to them. Other than Gu Lin, who had defeated the fox Venerable Cho Yun who dared to attack the Maitreya Buddha, the others were all invited. What happened? Xiong Feng, who was standing behind Wei Yishan, frowned. As Wei Yishan's #1 warrior, Seeing someone being bullied like this, Xiong Feng was definitely angry. Wasn't it just a message? Did they have to resort to violence? Brother Xiong, you didn't see how arrogant they were. Gu Lin's pair of black bean eyes blinked pitifully as he spoke. Look at my mouth. Mother ***, it's all because of me. When two countries are at war, they don't kill messengers. They bullied me like this. It's really... Could it be that you're so ugly that you're scaring them? A young man who was laughing suddenly said. Wei Yishan glanced at the young man and said indifferently, This is not the time to joke. The young man stuck out his tongue and stopped laughing. Why did they hit you? Xiong Feng said, You said everything you wanted to say, right? This time, Lord Zhang must give face to Godfather Randolph. You didn't screw it up, did you? I did. Gu Lin hurriedly said, I already told them the time and place that we agreed on. It's because they were too arrogant that they beat me up like this. Wei Yishan slammed the table fiercely. You have to look at the owner before beating a dog. Lord Zheng, don't be angry. The laughing young man said indifferently, Clowns have always been the most despicable. They always do things that deserve a beating. I think they beat him up for a reason. Gu Lin was unhappy when he heard the young man speak for others. He was about to argue, but was stopped by Xiong Feng's words. You should be more careful in the future. Xiong Feng scolded, but, no matter what the reason is, touching Lord Zheng's people is not giving Lord Zheng face. This debt will be settled tonight. Wei Yishan closed his eyes slightly and said indifferently, This is Guqin Island after all, not our territory. This Su Yun inherited Taisui Zhang Genji's property at such a young age, which means he's not ordinary. What we know about him is probably just the surface, so it's better not to underestimate him. When everyone heard Wei Yishan's lecture, they immediately looked at him seriously. Clowns was beaten up like this today because he was too conceited and underestimated his opponents. He thought he was on par with them, but he didn't expect his opponents to be much stronger than him. Wei Yishan opened his eyes and looked at Gu Lin. Am I right? Gu Lin's face turned red, and he didn't dare to say anything. But it's good. You tested them a little. Wei Yishan said, as the saying goes, know thyself and know thy enemy, and you'll never be defeated. Now that we're in the dark, and they're in the light, you know a little about their strength. This gives us an advantage, don't you think? Yes. Gu Lin nodded and said, They're all super experts. I'm no match for them at all. 3 super experts? The young man was stunned. It seemed that the opponents were indeed very strong. Gu Lin became serious. It's definitely true. Xiong Feng was a little hesitant. 3 super experts, and they still let you come back alive? Gu Lin wanted to make up a lie to save his face, but Wei Yishan spoke first. If they outnumber you, and they're much stronger than you, it's not shameful for you to lower your head and beg for mercy. It's good that you came back alive. It's good that you know when to yield. Gu Lin knew that he couldn't hide anything from Lord Zheng, so he didn't say anything. 3 super experts are nothing to be afraid of. Xiong Feng said calmly, Lord Zheng, don't worry. If Godfather Randolph wants to save face, I'll definitely help you. Leave it to me tonight. Don't hurt the hostages. After all, Su Yun isn't a nobody. Wei Yishan said, Randolph only asked him to exchange these hostages for someone else. There are some things that we shouldn't do, and we should leave ourselves a way out. Understood. Xiong Feng nodded vigorously. Wei Yishan waved his hand. If there's nothing else, you can all go back first. I'm a little tired, so I'll rest for a while. I'm old, and my body isn't as strong as yours. I need to get enough sleep if I stay up late at night. Otherwise, I won't be able to endure it. Yes. Everyone said and left one after another. Chapter 1170. It was late at night, and Pier number 5 was as quiet as a hibernating snake's nest. Other than the occasional sound of the sea breeze, it was so quiet that it gave people goosebumps. Su Yun drove by Xiaoye to the appointment as scheduled. Su Yun, that little brother of yours is really unreliable. He left just like that. He didn't even say goodbye and just left a note. How disloyal. Bai Xiaoye kept complaining even after she got out of the car. Su Yun said, I believe that the pigeon must have his own reasons. Maybe he has more important things to do. I can understand this, and you should understand it too. You're just finding excuses for yourself. Bai Xiaoye said, what could be more important than this? He said that he treats Sister Shuang as his own sister, Chou Yun as his own sister, and Guagua as his own child. Humph, don't forget that his girlfriend is still here. Even if it's not for anything else, he can't just leave for love, right? Su Yun raised his voice. Do you think he wants to leave? He has to bear a lot of pressure if he leaves now. We just need to do what we should do. Don't complain about him anymore. Coward. Bai Xiaoye's tone was full of disdain for Lin Gu. For a man who chose to leave at such a critical moment, Bai Xiaoye could only look down on him. He must have his own reasons. Don't be angry. Su Yun would say a few words for Lin Gu. Although he expressed his dissatisfaction with Lin Ji's behavior, he also expressed his understanding. Just as the two of them were arguing about Lin Gu leaving without saying goodbye, a handsome young man walked up to them from afar. Are you Sky Entertainment's CEO Su? The appearance of the young man immediately made Bai Xiaoye raise her guard. Who are you? Lord Zhang and Godfather Randolph are already waiting for you. The young man smiled. I'm here to bring you there. It seemed that this guy was also one of Maitreya Buddha Wei Yishan's men. However, compared to the sausage mouth who was also one of Wei Yishan's subordinates, the difference was like heaven and earth. They were not in the same style at all. There was a huge difference between a handsome face and a disgusting one. I am. Su Yun nodded. Lead the way. Please come with me. After the young man finished speaking, he led the way in front. After that, the young man didn't speak anymore. He just led Su Yun and the others forward until they arrived at a warehouse that used to be used for storing sundries. At the entrance of the warehouse, a few of Wei Yishan's subordinates were chatting happily with a few muscular Americans. They even let each other smoke. Although their language communication was not particularly smooth, they could still understand each other's meaning. People living in this era had to keep up with the times. Even if it was for the convenience of picking up girls in bars when traveling abroad, they still had to learn a few sentences of English. Of course, these foreigners also understood the current trend. The whole world was learning to speak China's language. If they didn't know a few sentences, they wouldn't be able to survive well. Those who could survive in the Gambino family's mafia were definitely not ordinary people. Upon seeing them, the few people who were chatting happily all became serious. They threw the cigarettes in their hands onto the ground. They were so aggressive that it was as if they were going to skin Su Yun alive right now. This young man seemed to have quite a high prestige on Wei Yishan's side. When Wei Yishan's subordinates saw him, they all bowed slightly to show their respect. Director Su, Lord Zhang and Godfather are waiting inside. The young man waved his hand and gestured for the few people at the entrance to make way for them. The few people at the entrance were very cooperative. It wasn't hard to tell that the people at the entrance were just lookouts. Although they were also experts, their strength definitely couldn't be compared to the people in the room. The young man gestured for Su Yun and Bai Xiaoye to enter. Please come in. The door to the warehouse opened, and the lights inside were dim. Su Yun looked around and saw that there were about 30 people inside. The two people sitting in the center were obviously Randolph and Godfather from the Gambino family, as well as Wei Yishan, who was known as the Maitreya Buddha. The two of them were surrounded by the experts they had brought with them. Although Randolph had come to Hua Xia to outsource the task of capturing Su Yun, he had still made some preparations. The bodyguards around him were all powerful boxers, just in case. He wasn't stupid enough to use his own men to fight Su Yun head-on. Using some favors to solve problems was much better than having his own men die. This mentality was similar to the Americans when they went to war. If it was necessary, they wouldn't use their own men. As long as it was a job that required them to be shot, they would let foreign mercenaries do it. When Randolph saw Su Yun again, there was a sinister smile on his face. Facing this young man from Huaxia who dared to make a fool out of him, it wasn't an exaggeration to say that he hated him to the core. Su Yun smiled at Randolph as if he was seeing an old acquaintance. "Godfather, I didn't expect us to meet so soon. Hee, it's really fate that brought us together." Randolph didn't understand Chinese, so he brought along a bodyguard who was proficient in Chinese to be his translator. When he heard Su Yun's mocking words, Randolph couldn't remain calm. He really wanted to ask Wei Yishan to send someone to crush Su Yun's head, but he couldn't do that. If Su Yun died, where could he find him? The things that came out of Su Yun's mouth were too valuable. "It's fate," Randolph said lightly. "Mr. Su, it's not easy for me to travel such a long distance. Godfather, if you miss me, you can come and find me." "How can I not receive you well? Do I need to disturb Lord Zhonghui?" After Su Yun finished speaking, he glanced at Wei Yishan with a smile. What a calm old man. Ever since he came in, Wei Yishan had not even looked at him properly once. Bai Xiaoye was quite confident before she came. But now, there were more than 30 masters in the room, including some supermasters. If they really fought, she and Su Yun wouldn't have a chance to win. Especially the few people beside Wei Yishan. Their gazes were like lightning, and they were definitely the kind of people who had extraordinary skills. Xiong Feng looked at the man and woman who dared to provoke Randolph. He thought that the young people nowadays were really arrogant. Even Lord Zhonghui had to give Randolph face, let alone these young people. These two young people were brave and capable. Unfortunately, they offended the wrong person. It was such a pity that they lost their chance at such a young age. At the same time, on the other side of the number 5 pier, Lin Gu parked his car in a secluded place. Su Yun and Bai Xiaoye had already gone to the place that Sausage Mouth had agreed to meet them. It wasn't easy to be in charge of hiding and helping Su Yun control the situation. Lin Gu had been very careful and didn't dare to be careless. He had to do a good job of concealing himself. He couldn't let the other party know that he was here. At the critical moment, he had to capture the leader and give them a chance to survive. If he was discovered during the incubation period, he would be letting down Brother Yun and Bai Xiaoye's hard work in acting. What he didn't know was that Big Brother Yun had purposely arranged for Bai Xiaoye to do this in order to make her acting more realistic. Right now, Bai Xiaoye was really looking down on him. She really despised him. Chapter 1171. Bai Xiaoye did not have much experience in society. She could not understand why Randolph was released so soon after he was arrested. She wanted to hold herself back from asking, but she felt that society was so unfair. She could not hold back her anger and opened her mouth. "Randolph, your mafia is in cahoots with the American government. How can a sinner like you be released?" Bai Xiaoye frowned and said. Su Yun was not as naive as Bai Xiaoye. He knew the American government's attitude toward the Gambino family. They must want to find a chance to destroy them completely, but they could not do anything about it. They couldn't do anything to them. If they did find evidence, Su Yun believed that the U.S. government would not hesitate to take action. Now that Randolph had appeared in China and confronted Su Yun, it could only mean that the American government didn't have enough evidence to convict him. Or perhaps, the American government needed Randolph's help to do something. Obviously, the American government needed Randolph to come to Huaxia. That was why Randolph appeared in Huaxia so quickly. If that's the case, I'm afraid I really need to ask you. Randolph sneered. You caused me to be taken away by the government. You must give me an explanation no matter what. Release me. You asked for it. Bai Xiaoye snorted. Randolph had been holding back for a long time because of this. The reason why he could come out so quickly was not because the government liked him that much. It was because he was still useful. When the CIA promised Randolph to arrange for Wesley to meet him, he knew that the American government had enough evidence in Wesley's hands to incriminate him. That was why he dared to expose Wesley. It did not matter even if he killed Wesley. After all, that person was useless. Randolph naturally would not let Wesley off. When Wesley saw Randolph through Douglas's summons, he knew it was too late. After Randolph confirmed Wesley's betrayal, the first thing he did was to kill him. Once Sidney received the order, Wesley did not live to see the sun rise the next day. Douglas used enough evidence to incriminate Randolph and made a deal with him. He wanted Randolph to find the person the U.S. government wanted. Randolph had no choice. If he didn't do as Douglas said, he would be sentenced to hundreds of years in prison. Mafia families never lacked internal conflicts. Once Randolph was accused, it would mean that a huge internal conflict would break out in the Gambino family. How many people were there? Randolph knew very well that he would do anything to get the position of godfather, because that was how he got the position. That was why Randolph was able to find Su Yun so quickly and come to Hua Xia with the help of the U.S. government. There was no such thing as eternal opposition. It was the same even between the American government and the 5 major families in New York. As long as there were benefits to be gained, everyone would definitely cooperate. Randolph would not be able to get any money, nor would he be able to get the right to not be interfered with. The U.S. government agreed? As long as he can bring back the people they want. Destroy all the evidence of his guilt. There was no reason for Randolph to reject this deal. Godfather, there is no point for you to look for me now, Su Yun said calmly. I have already parted ways with old Gu and the rest. Su Yun, are you that naive to think that I'm here for Gu Guolong? Randolph sneered. I don't want to beat around the bush with you. You've set me up, haven't you? Now, hand over Kevin Matthew to me. Maybe I will let you go and let bygones be bygones. Su Yun pretended to be surprised and said, Maybe? Do you mean that even if I hand over Kevin Matthew to you, you will not let me go? Humph, who knew what they were up to now? They were even more direct. Yes, Randolph said firmly. Then why should I hand him over to you? Not to mention that I don't know where Kevin and Matthew are right now. Even if I did, it's impossible for me to bring them to you just because you said, maybe. Su Yun was speechless. Godfather, your wishful thinking is even more beautiful than the Rui Jingu Bang. Randolph snorted. Then I am afraid that you will not be able to solve this problem so easily. Ruan Qingxuang and the rest were brought out from a sealed container in the warehouse. Their hands were tied behind their backs, and their mouths were sealed with tape. Their eyes were also blindfolded. They had heard Su Yun's voice, but they could not speak. They could not communicate with Su Yun. The guards were all Wei Yishan's men. Lord Zheng, aren't you afraid that others will laugh at you for bullying your juniors? Su Yun finally spoke to Wei Yishan. He knew that Wei Yishan did not say a word from the beginning. He was waiting for Wei Yishan to lower his stance. You are making things difficult for me. Wei Yishan finally looked at Su Yun carefully. The new generation excels the old. The blue has surpassed the blue. The younger generation will surpass the older generation. Lord Zheng, don't say that. The younger generation will surpass us in time. You can only say that to others, but never to Lord Zheng. Su Yun said, I don't know what your relationship with Godfather is, but we are all Hua Xia people. Lord Zheng, please give me some face. It is better for you not to interfere in this matter. Xiong Feng scolded coldly. How dare you? Who are you to teach Lord Zheng how to do things? Wei Yishan raised his hand to signal Xiong Feng to calm down. He said to Su Yun calmly, Young people should not be so impatient. CEO Su, I have heard of you. You are young and promising. My old bones really shouldn't have provoked you. I should have avoided you. Ha ha ha. However, I have my principles and my rules. This is my relationship with my godfather. A satisfied smile appeared on Randolph's face as he listened to his bodyguard's translation. Lord Zheng, you are experienced in Zhonghu. Since you know the rules, do you also feel that what you have done is a little shameless? Su Yun said bluntly. Since you said to avoid the sharpness, then I will show my sharpness in all directions. What are you talking about? Xiong Feng straightened his neck. It was the first time he saw a young man who was so disrespectful to Wei Yishan. "This matter is shameless," Bai Xiaoye said impolitely. "Come at us if you dare. Why do you want to catch them?" Wei Yishan was scolded, but he didn't show any reaction. "You can say whatever you want. I know that CEO Su is a young man with character. If I don't have any trump cards, it will be hard for me to invite you. Since I am here, you can let them go," Su Yun said. Wei Yishan shook his head. "I'm afraid that I will need your cooperation." Then, he glanced at Randolph. Randolph pointed at Ruan Qingxuang and the others. "You saw it. You exchanged Kevin Matthew for so many people. It's not a loss at all. If you have made up your mind, give me a definite answer now. Mr. Su, you know that my patience is almost zero. I tricked you once, and you still believe me?" Su Yun said, "Godfather, I told you that I don't know where Kevin Matthew is. You should find another way to solve this problem." Randolph stood up agitatedly. "Find another way to solve this problem? Okay. Then I will kill all of you." "That's even more difficult," Bai Xiaoye said heavily. "Since we can't reach an agreement, we will fight to the death. Even if I die here today, you won't leave here alive." Chapter 1172. Xiong Feng's sudden attack was completely out of Su Yun's expectations. Logically speaking, Xiong Feng was a famous expert in the underground world. Being calm was a necessary quality for an expert, right? His behavior of wanting to fight to the death at the slightest disagreement was something that only low-level experts who felt good about themselves would do, right? Xiong Feng's attack was too sudden, and Su Yun didn't see it coming. By the time he realized it, it was already too late. With the distance between him and Bai Xiaoye, even if he helped, he wouldn't be able to block Xiong Feng's attack. Bai Xiaoye didn't have the chance to dodge. Whether she could block this attack in time would depend on her luck. If she was injured by Xiong Feng, Su Yun probably didn't know what he would do next. "Big brother Xiong, don't be so serious. She's a girl after all. You should at least have some protective feelings for her." The handsome young man who led Su Yun and Bai Xiaoye here actually blocked Xiong Feng's attack easily. He placed one hand on Xiong Feng's right arm and walked in front of Xiong Feng, blocking his path. Xiong Feng was startled. "Qing Zhu, what do you mean by this?" The handsome young man smiled modestly. "Big brother Xiong, there are so many people here. If news of you attacking a girl spreads out, wouldn't it be a bit too? You'll be laughed at by others? So what if it's a joke? Anyone who dares to disrespect Lord Zheng will be killed without mercy." Xiong Feng said coldly, "It's because of this that Lord Zheng is so important in the underground world. That's why no one dares to disrespect Lord Zheng. Qing Zhu, if you don't know the rules, I can teach you slowly. Can you move aside now?" Clearly, Xiong Feng didn't expect Song Qing Zhu to block his attack so easily. It was completely out of his expectations. Song Qing Zhu. Su Yun didn't expect this handsome young man to be the guy who made a name for himself in the underground world at the age of 16. People called him Defeating Armies. The name Defeating Armies came from astrology, but it really suited Song Qingzhu's personality. He was a person who sought new things and wasn't afraid of violence. He had a clear distinction between good and evil, and he was frank and straightforward. He was famous in the underground world. Of course, he also had an intimidating side. He did things his own way, stubbornly argued, wasn't easy to cooperate, and lacked flexibility. Once he got angry, he wouldn't recognize anyone. Su Yun really didn't dare to believe that Wei Yishan actually had this kind of standard to take Song Qing Zhu under his command and even make him willingly run errands for him. Song Qing Zhu stood in front of Xiong Feng, and her stubborn side was vividly displayed. "Brother Xiong, since I've stopped you, I have my reasons. You'd better listen to my advice." "What if I don't listen?" Xiong Feng was Wei Yishan's #1 general. Over the years, his prestige was very high. Other than Wei Yishan, no one dared to go against his will. S's ofs, Zengzovs of his face. Zengzengzes. Zengzes. SSS. SSNs. Enough. Wei Yishan was a calm person, but he couldn't help but speak up. It was embarrassing for his own people to quarrel in front of outsiders. It's just a small matter. You don't have to be at each other's throats. Song Qingzhu still had a gentle smile on his face. He said to Wei Yishan, "You're right." Xiong Feng wasn't satisfied. He angrily waved his hand and glared at Song Qingzhu. Although Song Qingzhu didn't overreact, she still flashed a provocative smile at Xiong Feng's attitude. This sudden change made Randolph a little confused. Why would there be a conflict between his own people? Was it because Wei Yishan's leadership wasn't good enough? "Mr. Wei, your people should listen to your orders." Randolph said, "If this situation happened in my family, I would use the Huaxia's ancient saying to kill one as an example to others. This is related to your prestige. Kill one as an example to others? Humph." Wei Yishan said in his heart. "It's easy for you to say. But if I asked you to kill your subordinate Sydney, you wouldn't be able to do it. Godfather, I'm sorry for making a fool of myself." Wei Yishan naturally wouldn't say what he was thinking. "My way of educating my subordinates is more relaxed. I give them as much space as possible." The Huaxia's ancient saying to kill one as an example to others is not only about killing one as an example to others, but also about using virtue to win people over. Sometimes, using force can only control people for a while. Using virtue to win people over will make them respect you for a lifetime. These words were too profound. Randolph couldn't understand them. What he wanted was a result today. He wanted Su Yun to exchange Kevin Matthew for his people. "Lord Zhang, you can talk to Godfather Randolph about these moral lessons later." Su Yun smiled. "Now, let's talk about the current situation." "Do we need Godfather to tell us the current situation?" Xiong Feng said, "We'll give you 24 hours to bring back the people Godfather wants, and I'll return your people to you unharmed. If you do not bring them back within 24 hours, I am sorry to say, but I will choose one of them to die as an incentive to you. Remember, no matter how long it takes, you have to bring them back. Every 24 hours, I'll kill one of them. If you don't bring them back after killing all of them, the next one to die will be the woman next to you, and then, you." Xiong Feng's words were like a sharp dagger, stabbing into Su Yun's heart bit by bit. There was a limit to everyone's patience. Su Yun, who had been trying his best to smile, finally turned cold. Since Xiong Feng wanted to kill Bai Xiaoye, Su Yun didn't like him at all. Now, Xiong Feng even threatened him with someone important to him. It was unforgivable. "Crazy bear. I'm not Godfather's subordinate. You'd better be polite to me," Su Yun said. "My temper isn't as good as Godfather's subordinates. I can tolerate you." "What can I do if I don't tolerate you?" Xiong Feng snorted. "Boss Su, you're young, capable, and have a company, but that doesn't mean I'll think highly of you. If you're not convinced, I'll play with you at any time." Su Yun snorted in disdain. His eyes were like lightning as he stared at Xiong Feng. "You don't have the right to make me not convinced, do you? If I don't make things clear, who do you think you are? I'm here to talk to Godfather. You don't have the right to talk to me." Xiong Feng clenched his fists, making a bone-chilling cracking sound. "You'll know whether I have the right or not after you try." Outside the warehouse, two seagulls' cries sounded bitterly. "I'll play with you." Su Yun's expression changed, and his murderous aura exploded at the same time. The warehouse fell into a deadlock. The seagulls' cries came from Lin Gu. That was their secret signal. Once Lin Gu sneaked in, he would send a signal to Su Yun. Su Yun would try his best to cause chaos with Bai Xiaoye, and then Lin Gu would take advantage of the chaos to save Bai Xiaoye. Once he succeeded, he would retreat immediately. As long as he could save Ruan Qingxuang and the others, Su Yun would slowly settle the score with Randolph and Wei Yishan. When Su Yun's aura exploded, Xiong Feng finally understood why he was so confident. Such a powerful aura proved that he was powerful. However, as Godfather's #1 warrior, Xiong Feng was not someone to be trifled with. Xiong Feng responded quickly. The two powerful auras collided, creating an even more intimidating aura. In the entire warehouse, those who were slightly weaker could no longer control their trembling legs. Chapter 1173. While Su Yun and Xiong Feng were fighting, Lin Ge, who was hiding in the dark, suddenly attacked. He went straight for the two guys who were holding Ruan Qingxuang and the others. Lin Ji's sudden appearance shocked Bai Xiaoye. Bai Xiaoye, who was about to attack Rudolph, didn't know what to do. But even with such a sudden attack, Lin Ge did not succeed. It was as if Song Qingzhu had eyes on the back of his head. The moment Lin Ge suddenly appeared in a hidden spot on the roof of the warehouse, Song Qingzhu immediately went up to him. It was impossible for Lin Ge to save him. Su Yun also saw this scene from the corner of his eyes. He knew that something must have gone wrong. Their plan must have been seen through. Friend, not everyone can come to this place as they please. Song Qingzhu blocked Lin Ji's path. I sincerely hope that you just came to the wrong place. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. Since their plan had been seen through, Lin Ge didn't need to explain further. It's hard to say if it's me or you who will be in trouble. Friend, aren't you a little too confident? Only those with strength have the right to be confident. What do you think? Song Qingzhu was definitely qualified to say this. When Wei Yishan saw that Su Yun and Bai Xiaoye came with only 2 people, he signaled his men to be careful with his eyes. Although Gu Lin was ugly and liked to boast, he still knew how to count. He said that there were 3 people on the other side, but only 2 appeared now. Wei Yishan didn't believe that one of the other party's members would run away when it came to the matter, based on the information that his men had secretly eavesdropped. Therefore, he asked Song Qingzhu to be prepared at all times. He didn't know when someone would suddenly join their battle. As long as they were fully prepared, they wouldn't have to be afraid of the other side's tricks. Su Yun and Xiong Feng had already begun to fight. Judging from the current situation, it seemed that they were evenly matched. Xiong Feng's moves were fierce, while Su Yun didn't use softness to overcome hardness. Instead, he used hardness to overcome hardness. He used even tougher moves to confront Xiong Feng. It was obvious that Su Yun was doing this on purpose. He wanted to destroy Xiong Feng's confidence that he was the strongest in the world. Therefore, even though Su Yun could use softness to overcome hardness, using the Taiji technique to deal with Xiong Feng easily, he still did not do so. Song Qingzhu blocked Lin Ge, and a fierce battle was inevitable. Lin Ge was confident that he could defeat Song Qingzhu because he didn't know Song Qingzhu's strength. There weren't many people in the underground world who knew Song Qingzhu's strength, so it was normal that Lin Ge didn't know. Even Su Yun wasn't sure of Song Qingzhu's strength. However, there was one thing that Su Yun was certain of. Song Qingzhu's strength was definitely not weak when he was able to block Xiong Feng's attack. However, even Su Yun didn't know that Song Qingzhu's strength was more than that. Lin Ge was about to face his biggest challenge since he came to Huaxia. His opponent might be even stronger than his idol, Xie Fei's, whom he had always wanted to surpass. Su Yun and Lin Ge had already started fighting. Bai Xiaoye didn't want to fall behind. She still wanted to follow her plan and capture Randolph. Then all the problems would be solved. Old bastard, I'll make you regret coming to Huaxia today. Bai Xiaoye didn't lose to men. She directly attacked Randolph. How could Randolph not bring Sydney with him to Huaxia? He always believed that as long as Sydney was around, no one would be able to hurt him. Sydney blocked Randolph with his body and punched Bai Xiaoye when Bai Xiaoye suddenly attacked. The two of them exchanged blows. After Lin Ji's ambush was exposed, Su Yun realized a serious problem. They probably didn't have a chance today. He was on par with Xiong Feng. Even if he could severely injure Xiong Feng, he would be exhausted and wouldn't be able to fight against others. On the other hand, it would be difficult for Lin Ge to deal with Song Qingzhu. Su Yun only hoped that Lin Ge would be able to protect himself. As for Bai Xiaoye, Su Yun was even more worried. Although she was taught by her mother, the empress who no one dared to provoke in the underground world, she lacked experience. However, Bai Xiaoye lacked combat experience. If Su Yun's guess was right, she had never killed anyone before. Expecting her to be able to take advantage of Sydney, an assassin who was soaked in blood from head to toe, could be said to be really whimsical. Now, they were in a difficult situation. Bai Xiaoye wasn't Sydney's opponent. As long as Wei Yishan gave the order, the other experts who hadn't made a move yet would join the battle. The situation would instantly become one-sided. The three of them were still fighting one-on-one. Xiong Feng, the number one fighter under Wei Yishan, was the one who couldn't gain the upper hand. This was because Xiong Feng's ferocious moves were no longer a secret. 10 out of 10 people who fought with him wanted to win by using softness to overcome strength. Unfortunately, they were not at that level and could not overcome strength with softness. Over time, Xiong Feng learned to use softness to win with strength. But today, Su Yun suddenly used softness to win with strength. Xiong Feng couldn't adapt to it from the beginning. Moreover, Su Yun's Bajiquan made Xiong Feng realize that he might not be the best at using Bajiquan in the underground world. Bai Xiaoye was at a disadvantage. She was strong, and her strength wasn't below Lin Ji's. However, she couldn't figure out Sydney's motive. After a dozen rounds, Sydney saw through her. Any move she made would be seen through by Sydney, and she would be caught off guard by his counterattack. Finally, Sydney found an opportunity to kill. After blocking Bai Xiaoye's flying fairy palm, his fist turned into an eagle's claw and grabbed at Bai Xiaoye's throat. For a fighter of Sydney's level, his grip was enough to crush Bai Xiaoye's throat. At this critical moment, Su Yun, who couldn't get away, and Lin Gu, who was at a disadvantage, couldn't save Bai Xiaoye. Something unexpected happened again. Song Qingzhu, who had stopped Xiong Feng from attacking Bai Xiaoye, actually exposed her back to Lin Gu and went forward to grab Sydney's poisonous hand. "Foreigner, that's enough. Don't overdo it. You'll kill her if you grab her." Song Qingzhu's eyes were cold. This scene not only surprised Bai Xiaoye, but also shocked Su Yun and Lin Gu. As for the other side, they probably couldn't understand why Song Qingzhu did this. Was he betraying them? But if he was, he wouldn't have stopped Lin Gu from saving Bai Xiaoye. That's enough. Wei Yishan couldn't stay calm anymore. Song Qingzhu's brain had short-circuited again and again today, which obviously made him very dissatisfied. Go. At Lord Zheng's command, more than a dozen experts stepped forward, rubbing their fists and rubbing their palms. The situation was about to collapse. Sydney's killing move was blocked by Song Qingzhu. Of course, he was very unhappy. He spat out 2 words in stiff Chinese: "Traitor. Traitors must be killed." This was the Gambino family's motto. Take them down. Seeing that Wei Yishan had given the order, Randolph couldn't sit still anymore. He waved his hand and ordered his subordinates to move out. He only had one goal today, and that was to take them down. He didn't believe that he couldn't get Kevin Matthews' whereabouts from Su Yun. Chapter 1174. Su Yun and his team were outnumbered. Just as they were about to be wiped out by the enemy's human wave tactic, the warehouse was suddenly blasted open. The experts and boxers who were guarding the entrance were thrown in one after another like kites with their strings cut. Their faces were all bruised and swollen, and there wasn't a single patch on their faces that was unharmed. Especially the boxers that Randolph brought over, they were beaten up even more miserably. The person who did this was really ruthless. He clearly knew that they couldn't use medical insurance in Huaxia, yet he still beat them up so ruthlessly. How much money did he want to earn for the hospital? One of them is a famous figure in Zhonghui, while the other is the godfather of the famous Gambino family. I didn't expect them to do such a thing. Isn't this a little too unfair? Originally, we didn't intend to do anything. But after seeing you bully people like this, we can't sit still anymore. At the entrance, there was a group of people. Su Yun didn't even need to look at them to know that the person who spoke was Qian Feng. Other than Qian Feng, there were also Hua Leitang, Han Zhan, Hua Xiaolu, and so on and so forth. The Dragon Fury team had 28 brothers. They stood at the entrance of the abandoned warehouse at Pier 5 and blocked it completely. Not to mention a person, even a fly wouldn't be able to escape. Randolph's men reacted quickly and took out their pistols. Dragon Fury's brothers didn't fall for this trick. When Randolph's men took out their pistols, they also took out their weapons. Compared to their pistols, Dragon Fury team's firepower was definitely much more powerful. It was on a completely different level. Someone who could carry so many heavy weapons in Huaxia was definitely not a random person in society. No matter how famous a person was in the underground world, it was impossible for him to have so many subordinates carry all kinds of weapons and go out at any time. Wei Yishan was a smart person, and he understood what was going on at a glance. Everyone stop. Wei Yishan gave his subordinates an order first. They would die if they acted rashly. Since he was the master of his subordinates, he had the obligation to stand up at the critical moment to ensure their safety. Hearing Wei Yishan's words, everyone stopped fighting. Even Xiong Feng, who had been fighting Su Yun, took a few steps back to protect himself and avoided Su Yun's attack. He wanted to see what Lord Zheng meant. Brother, we in the underground world have our own rules. We will not act recklessly. Wei Yishan said calmly, may I know how we have offended the military? Damn, good eyesight. As expected of Wei Yishan, Su Yun had to admit that this old man's knowledge and judgment were absolutely extraordinary. Su Yun was now as curious as Wei Yishan. Why did his group of brothers suddenly appear? This really left him puzzled even after much thought. At such a crucial moment, a group of people with excellent equipment had barged in. It was simply divine soldiers descending from the sky. So many of you want to attack our boss. What do you think you have done to us? Hua Xiaolu said unhappily. It was supposed to be a one-on-one fight, but you insisted on ganging up. Fine, we will accompany you to the end. Wei Yishan's face changed. Su Yun is your boss? Isn't that obvious nonsense? Han Zhan said coldly, Lord Zheng, we know your rules, but we are not from the underground world. We have only one principle. We will not let go of anyone who dares to harm our boss. Su Yun was actually from the military. Wei Yishan would never have thought of this. Song Qingzhu suddenly opened his mouth and said to himself, as expected of Yen Long. Lin Guo was stunned. Grandson, have you heard of my brother? Brother, can you be more polite? Don't be so rude. I didn't provoke you. Why are you taking advantage of me? Song Qingzhu rolled his eyes at Lin Guo. No matter what, I have helped your little sister resolve 2 crises, right? Can't you be more polite to me? Song Qingzhu was really confusing. Although he was on the opposite side, Lin Guo had to admit that he had indeed helped Bai Xiaoye twice at the risk of offending his own people. Especially the second time when he went to stop Sydney, his entire back was exposed to him. At that time, Lin Guo definitely had the chance to severely injure Song Qingzhu. However, Song Qingzhu was very confident. He was 100% sure that as long as his goal was to help Bai Xiaoye, Lin Guo would not do anything behind his back. Lin Guo suddenly realized something. He raised his eyebrows and said in a low voice, Don't tell me you like. Shut up. Without waiting for Lin Guo to finish, Bai Xiaoye glared at him. Nothing good comes out of a dog's mouth. The military had intervened, and there were so many of them. Each of them was an expert from the special forces. Wei Yishan couldn't help but look at Su Yun in a new light. This kid was not as simple as he thought. Wei Yishan was afraid that he couldn't do anything about Randolph. Wei Yishan was friends with Randolph, but he wouldn't give up everything just because of that. Manager Su, this time I have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. Please give me a straight answer. Wei Yishan turned to Su Yun. He had already expressed his goodwill, and now he wanted to see what Su Yun would do. If Su Yun didn't want to let Bai Xiaoye go, then they would fight to the death. If Su Yun didn't care and let Bai Xiaoye go, then there was no need for them to stay and cause trouble. Su Yun understood why Wei Yishan wanted him to say something. It was to express his opinion. He smiled. Lord Zheng, there's a saying that goes, no discord, no concord. As far as I know, you've met old Master Zhang a few times before. You didn't give him face today, so as his godson, I shouldn't let you go. At this moment, Wei Yishan's expression was already very ugly. He knew that Su Yun only said such words because he was confident and certain. But as a junior, I have to give face to my godfather, even though he has already gone to see the King of Hell. Su Yun, I'll pretend that nothing happened today. Lord Zheng, as a junior, I've done enough, right? Enough. I appreciate it. Wei Yishan waved his hand and said to his subordinates, let's go. Randolph couldn't sit still anymore. He quickly stepped forward and said, Mr. Wei, what do you mean? You can't leave me here because of such a small matter, right? Godfather, you've seen what's going on. We're friends, but I can only do what I can for you in Huaxia. If I can't do it, then there's nothing I can do. Wei Yishan said, I'm sorry. See you again. Is this the so-called loyalty of Huaxia people? Naturally, Randolph wasn't satisfied with Wei Yishan's decision to retreat. He roared, I was wrong to have trusted you. Xiong Feng heard Randolph yelling at Wei Yishan. He didn't need to be polite to Randolph anymore. He stepped forward and cursed, why didn't you tell me earlier that the kid has a military background? You're the one who set us up. No matter what, Wei Yishan must be preparing to retreat. Su Yun must have his own reasons for leaving him a way out. After all, Wei Yishan had more than 10 experts with him. If they retreat, then Randolph might not be able to escape from Su Yun's hands. Chapter 1175. Su Yun did ask Wei Yishan to leave with his men, but the brothers of the Dragon Fury team who were guarding the entrance of the warehouse weren't as easy to talk to as their boss. Yanlong, Wei Yishan, it's our boss who said so today. Otherwise, you know what would have happened. Qian Feng said bluntly, we don't care whether you are a Zhonghui giant or not. We also don't care how much prestige and face you, Maitreya Buddha, have in the underground world. You know very well whether we dare to touch you or not. If Qian Feng and the others weren't from the military, Wei Yishan would have glared at them and ordered his men to attack them. However, he really didn't dare to do so now. He dared to provoke people from the underground world, but he really didn't dare to provoke people from the special forces. If he could bear with it, he would. If he really provoked them, he was afraid that it wouldn't be so easy to solve. People from the underground world absolutely didn't want to provoke people from the military. Who do you think you are? Be more polite when you talk to Lord Zheng. Xiong Feng had been suppressed by Su Yun just now, so he was already angry. When he saw Qian Feng daring to point at Wei Yishan, of course, he couldn't control his emotions. If you have the guts, go out and fight with me one-on-one. Fight your ass. Hua Xiaolu spat and directly slapped his face. If our boss didn't hold back just now, you would have been King kneeling. You should know how to behave. Xiong Feng really couldn't stand this provocation. He clenched his fists, and a wave of anger rushed to the top of his head. He wanted to fight. Today I will let all of you die in. Enough. Wei Yishan angrily rebuked and swallowed back Xiong Feng's unfinished words. Today's matter ends here. Everyone, listen clearly. I, Wei Yishan, have never come to Qingdao today. If you have anything to say, go back first. Xiong Feng, let's go. Xiong Feng almost choked to death, but since Lord Zhang had spoken, he could only admit defeat. At this time, Lin Gu and Bai Xiaoye had already untied Wan Qingshuang and the others. Other than Feng Ye, who was still in shock, the others felt much better. Even Guagua didn't feel wronged and just quietly snuggled up to Wan Qingshuang. Let Buddha Wei go. Take it as though nothing happened today. In the future, we will mind our own business. Su Yun said, Lord Zheng, take care. Qian Feng and Hua Xiaolu, who were blocking the entrance, reluctantly stepped aside. Wei Yishan turned around and cupped his fists. Boss Su, you're open-minded. You'll definitely achieve great things in the future. Thank you for today. Lord Zheng, you are too polite. If you come to Guqin Island again, I will treat you well. Su Yun was just being polite. Let's part ways here. Wei Yishan led the way through the space between Qian Feng and Hua Xiaolu. Xiong Feng followed closely behind. When he reached the two of them, he even glared at them fiercely. If Boss hadn't spoken, Qian Feng and Hua Xiaolu definitely wouldn't have let this bear walk out. Just as Wei Yishan's departure attracted everyone's attention, Randolph's subordinate, Sydney, suddenly attacked by Xiaoye. He wouldn't let his godfather be in danger. If they didn't have any bargaining chips, they might not be able to walk out today. Right now, Bai Xiaoye was the closest target. If the little girl wasn't so far away, his target would definitely be little Guagua. Sydney was indeed an expert in the Western boxing world. After joining the Gambino family, he had contributed greatly to Randolph's side. His experience in dangerous situations was richer than anyone else's. Moreover, he had a sharp sense of smell and could accurately grasp the fleeting opportunity to turn danger into safety. Sydney's explosive power came too suddenly. Bai Xiaoye didn't have much combat experience to begin with. When Wei Yishan retreated, she completely let down her guard, thinking that victory was already in their hands. Therefore, when Sydney suddenly attacked, Bai Xiaoye was not prepared at all. As Sydney's speed was too fast, even Su Yun and Lin Gu, who were closer to Bai Xiaoye, couldn't save her in time. However, the world was full of surprises. Since it was called an accident, it had to be something unexpected. No one expected Song Qingzhu to help Bai Xiaoye a third time. This time, he didn't expect Sydney to attack, so he could only use his body to block the attack. When Sydney saw Song Qingzhu foiling his plan again, his anger was self-evident. The palm that was originally meant to grab Song Qingzhu instantly turned into a heavy punch. He didn't hesitate at all as he punched Song Qingzhu's chest. The destructive power of a terrifying Western boxer's punch was unpredictable. Although Song Qingzhu was prepared to use his qi to protect his body, he was still sent flying several meters away. He spat out a mouthful of blood more than a meter away. One could imagine how powerful Sydney's punch was. When Su Yun and Lin Gu saw this, they rushed forward. Before Sydney had the chance to attack Bai Xiaoye again, they forced him back with a few moves. Randolph's subordinates couldn't hold back either. However, Dragon's Fury had so many brothers here. They weren't to be trifled with. Which one of them wasn't a super expert? Although the battle seemed chaotic, the outcome of the battle was decided in an instant. Randolph's subordinates were no match for Dragon Fury team. Even if Wei Yishan stepped forward to help him, the two sides would at most be tied. However, Wei Yishan had made it very clear that he had no intention of getting involved in this mess. A one-sided battle was inevitable. Everyone saw how Song Qingzhu blocked the punch for Bai Xiaoye. Wei Yishan frowned. This brat must be out of his mind. Xiong Feng's mouth twitched. He was already unhappy with Song Qingzhu when he tried to stop him. Now, Song Qingzhu blocked Sydney's attack twice. This time, Song Qingzhu even foolishly played with his own life. He must be crazy. Qingzhu, let's go. Wei Yishan said and walked out without looking back. He didn't even think about Song Qingzhu's injuries. If Song Qingzhu could stand up, he might leave with Wei Yishan. After all, this place didn't need him anymore. However, at this moment, he couldn't stand up. The feeling of his heart almost being separated from his body made his ears ring. It was extremely painful. How are you? Bai Xiaoye was the only one who came to Song Qingzhu's side. She knew better than anyone that if it wasn't for Song Qingzhu, she wouldn't know what would happen to her. Are you crazy? You don't have to worry about me. Song Qingzhu was already like this, but she still managed to force a smile. Since ancient times, heroes have always known how to take care of women. He. You think you're a hero? Hey. Don't scare me. Before Bai Xiaoye could finish, Song Qingzhu laughed and fainted. Her mind went blank. Hero, wake up. You're a hero, right? Don't die. With the addition of the Dragon Fury team, Su Yun was like a tiger that had grown wings. He quickly subdued all of Randolph's subordinates. Sydney had been beaten up by him and Lin Gu. He had fainted on the ground, and it felt like he could not even breathe. Of course, Song Qingzhu was also in a bad state after taking a punch from Sydney. Fortunately, his face wasn't disfigured. On the other hand, Sydney's face was so swollen that even Randolph couldn't recognize him. Randolph looked at his subordinates and knew that he had lost. He couldn't believe that Su Yun was from Hua Xia's military. How can you be from the military? You. Chapter 1176. Wei Yishan left the warehouse at Pier 5 with a belly full of anger. If it weren't for the military, he definitely wouldn't have let Su Yun go. Even if he was Zhang Yiji's godson, Zhang Yiji was already dead. There was no need to give him any face. Lord Zheng, are we just going to let this matter go? Xiong Feng wouldn't let it go so easily. His current mood was like the face of the clown Gu Lin. It was terrible. Yes, Lord Zheng. We can't just let them ride on our heads and shit, right? Gu Lin's words were even more disgusting. He had no way to vent his anger, so he could only make Wei Yishan angry and take revenge. Wei Yishan glared fiercely at Gu Lin. Then I'll leave this matter to you. Do you know the consequences of offending the military? Do you think I don't want to tear that bastard into pieces? But you have to consider the consequences. Now that we're doing this, we're openly provoking the military. Xiong Feng suddenly understood and nodded. Lord Zheng, I understand. You mean, after this matter is over, we'll find another opportunity? Yes. We'll set them up. Gu Lin was excited when he heard this. Am I, Wei Yishan, the kind of villain who sets people up behind their backs? Wei Yishan snorted. I'm not setting them up. I'm just settling accounts. Today, they severely humiliated me. I'll definitely find a chance to get back at them. Otherwise, if word gets out, how can I, Wei Yishan, stand in society in the future? Xiong Feng supported all of Wei Yishan's decisions. That's right. We can't let them get away with it. Lord Zheng's reputation is the most important. While they were talking, Wei Yishan had already brought his men to the parking lot. A looming figure flashed like a ghost. Wei Yishan and the others immediately broke out in a cold sweat. When they took a closer look, it was actually a living person. A woman's back was facing them. They were all people in the underground world. Everyone knew what it meant to leave one's back to others. Therefore, the woman in front of them either didn't understand this principle and wasn't in the same circle, or she was confident enough that even if her back was exposed, she wasn't afraid that someone would dare to touch her. Who are you? Gu Lin stepped forward and questioned. The woman didn't turn around and said casually, Wei Yishan, tell your disgusting subordinate to scram to the side. Wei Yishan. She actually dared to call him by his name. Xiong Feng raised his eyebrows and shouted angrily, Who do you think you are? Do you think you can call Lord Zheng's name so casually? However, Wei Yishan's expression changed drastically. This woman's voice was too familiar. Could it be? Who do you think you are? You are not qualified to talk to me. The woman suddenly turned her head, and the silent pressure that burst out from her body instantly made everyone, including Wei Yishan, shiver. Xiong Feng was shocked. This was not the pressure of an ordinary expert. This was the imposing manner of a king. This woman was definitely not an ordinary person. Empress. Wei Yishan's eyes were filled with disbelief. Why would Zhuo Langyue suddenly appear here? They didn't have any grievances, nor did they have any interactions. They couldn't even be considered as friends. Zhuo Langyue's gaze was like lightning as it swept through everyone present. No one could look at her with the majesty of a ruler. Hearing how Wei Yishan addressed this woman, Xiong Feng suddenly realized that he had spoken without thinking. The person he spoke rudely to was actually Empress Zhualangyue, a sky-profound realm expert who no one dared to offend in the underground world. Compared to Zhualangyue, he, Xiong Feng, was just trash. If Zhualangyue wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as pinching an ant to death. They weren't on the same level at all. Not to mention that Xiong Feng wasn't on the same level. Even Wei Yishan, who had broken through to the earth-profound realm, was nothing in front of Zhualangyue. Oh, it seems like you still remember me. Zhualangyue didn't have any friendship with Wei Yishan, but they had met on the anniversary of the founding of Sky Entertainment Group. However, that was a long time ago. Wei Yishan couldn't believe that this woman was actually as young as she was so many years ago. He couldn't see any change in her age at all. Empress, why are you here? Wei Yishan asked cautiously. Why are you looking for me? Of course. Zhualangyue said coldly. Why would I look for you if there's nothing important? Who do you think you are? Do you have such a big face? If someone dared to talk to Wei Yishan like this on a normal day, Xiong Feng would have already become angry. However, he didn't dare to say a single word now. He didn't know if it was because he didn't dare to, but under Zhualangyue's pressure, he didn't dare to say anything disrespectful. Wei Yishan also didn't dare to refute. That is, I think you're tired of living. You dare to provoke anyone. Zhualangyue suddenly emitted a murderous aura from her pressure. This murderous aura was so cold that it could penetrate one's bones. Wei Yishan's Adam's apple moved. Su Yun not only had a military background, he also had a big backer like Zhualangyue. Randolph, you've really screwed your father over. One must know that he, Wei Yishan, would rather lose face than offend the military. However, he would rather offend the military than offend Zhualangyue. Now, because of this matter, he had offended both sides. How could he, Wei Yishan, survive in the future? Empress, please listen to my explanation. I was entrusted by someone. I don't know. Other than apologizing and explaining, Wei Yishan really didn't know what else he could do. If you're a man, you'll have the courage to own up to your actions. Zhualangyue said coldly, live with some dignity. Wei Yishan swallowed his saliva. Live with some dignity. He had always lived with dignity. However, in front of you, the Empress, what dignity did he dare to have? His life was more important. Seeing that Wei Yishan couldn't even speak, Zhualangyue turned to look at his number one subordinate, Xiong Feng, and said, you actually dared to kill my beloved disciple. Unforgivable. Do you want to do it yourself, or do you want me to do it? Xiong Feng wanted to refute, but the other party's aura was too strong. I can't let Su Yun kill me. I was just defending myself. I wasn't talking about Su Yun. Zhualangyue snorted. Since you are so arrogant, you will die sooner or later. You might as well help yourself today. If it wasn't Su Yun, then it meant that her beloved disciple was that woman named by Xiaoye. Xiong Feng was enlightened. Zhualangyue naturally wouldn't admit that Bai Xiaoye was her daughter. There were many reasons for this, and there were some things that couldn't be said. Wei Yishan also finally understood why the Empress came out to make things difficult for him. It was all because of Xiong Feng's impulsiveness. Fortunately, Song Qingzhu stopped him. Otherwise, who knew what irreparable thing would have happened? However, Wei Yishan was sure of one thing. If Zhualangyue wanted him dead, he wouldn't be able to see the sun of the next day. Suddenly, Wei Yishan made his move. Of course, he didn't dare to do anything to Zhualangyue. His iron eagle claw, which had reached the 8th layer, was definitely not to be trifled with. He easily crushed Xiong Feng's head. During the entire process, Xiong Feng didn't even have the chance to react. Even until the moment of his death, he still couldn't believe that Zheng would kill him. After all, he had been loyal and devoted for so many years. Wei Yishan also felt heartache. He also didn't want to do this. However, he had no choice. Xiong Feng wouldn't do it himself. Rather than letting Zhualangyue do it, he might as well do it himself. At least, he could leave Xiong Feng's corpse intact. Seeing this scene, Wei Yishan's subordinates all sucked in a breath of cold air. Wasn't Zheng a little too ruthless this time? He didn't show any mercy at all. Empress, are you satisfied now? Wei Yishan said, my men did something wrong. I will personally clean them up. Humph. Zhualangyue sneered, Wei Yishan, you better remember this. Don't have any crooked thoughts about them. In the eyes of others, you are the Maitreya Buddha, revered by all. However, I know very well what kind of character you are. If you don't want to die, you better remember what I said today. Chapter 1177. Inside the warehouse, everyone felt a terrifying pressure. Although the pressure only lasted for a short moment, it still made everyone in the warehouse feel quite threatened. Hua Leiteng and Han Zhan were the first to rush out to investigate. However, they discovered that the aura had already dissipated. Not far away, Wei Yishan, who had lost a great general, was immersed in endless grief and anger. The dead are gone. Lord Zheng, we know you had no choice. Gu Lin was comforting Wei Yishan. He knew that Lord Zheng's mood was worse than his face. What kind of big shot was it that could make Wei Yishan lose his temper after losing his first general? Hua Leiteng and Han Zhan had a rough idea of who it was even if they didn't see it. Inside the warehouse, Bai Xiaoye could guess who it was even if she didn't go out. Humph, since you chose to run away, why do you still have to do this? Hypocrite. Su Yun quickly guessed who it was from Bai Xiaoye's expression and the eyes of the two people who came back. It seemed that he was fated to be blessed by the heavens today. Even if the brothers of Dragon's Fury didn't come out, Wei Yishan wouldn't be able to take advantage of him or hurt Bai Xiaoye. His injuries are very serious. We have to think of a way to save him. Bai Xiaoye frowned. She didn't want to think about those things that annoyed her. Qian Feng glanced at the dying Song Qingzhu. When did Song Qingzhu join Wei Yishan? Phew, since he's Wei Yishan's man, let Lord Zheng take him away. Save him? Where are we going to save him? I have to save this person. Bai Xiaoye was very determined. After all, Song Qingzhu had saved her from danger 3 times. Everyone had seen it. Qian Feng pursed his lips. He couldn't make a decision on this matter. It was better to leave it to his boss. Lin Ge had already stepped forward to help Bai Xiaoye support Song Qingzhu. Although this guy was on the opposite side, his brain seemed to have been caught by a door. He had helped them time and time again. Even though Lin Ge had suffered a loss at his hands earlier, he didn't care. He believed that Su Yun wouldn't let this go. Pigeon, bring him back and settle him down. I will think of a way to save him. Su Yun's words reassured Bai Xiaoye. Chou Yun didn't say anything. She stepped forward and silently helped. She had matured a lot now. Most of the time, she wouldn't rely on her own willfulness to do what she wanted to do. She would make decisions based on the situation. For example, today, since Su Yun said that Wei Yishan's people should leave, she didn't consider taking revenge on Gu Lin. With her strength, she wouldn't lose to Gu Lin. However, when she fought today, her whole body was sore and weak. She couldn't muster up any energy at all. Big Sister Shuang, you and Guagua go back with them first. I will go back as soon as I'm done here, Su Yun said. Then we'll go back and wait for you. Ruan Qingxuang nodded obediently. Bai Xiaoye also said, then hurry up. Don't let this guy wait for his death. She pointed at Song Qingzhu. Although Song Qingzhu was seriously injured, he felt that it was worth it to be able to gain the concern of a beauty. Su Yun nodded. He took out the car keys and handed it to Bai Xiaoye, telling her not to worry. Seeing this, Lin Ge also handed the keys to his car, which was parked on the other side of the dock, to Su Yun. He also told Su Yun where the car was parked. Everyone quickly left. Why are you here? Su Yun was puzzled. Orders from the chief? Yes. Hua Leiteng said, the chief said that the people you offended are not good people. They will definitely take revenge very quickly. So, He asked us to follow you secretly. If anything happens, we will be able to help you in time. Su Yun nodded. You don't have to be so secretive. You're not strangers to me. Even I didn't know you were here. If I knew you were here, I wouldn't have played with them like this today. If I had prepared earlier, Wei Yishan wouldn't have been able to walk out so openly. It's not that we don't want to tell you. Han Zhan smiled helplessly. The chief wants to save face. Although he's sure that these people will take revenge quickly, he's afraid that he'll lose face if he guesses wrong. So, he doesn't want us to be exposed. Only when you're in danger that you can't deal with will we be exposed. That's what the chief means. If you weren't in danger today, we wouldn't have come out. Qian Feng said, the chief is very serious. We will only show up at the most critical moment. Su Yun understood. In fact, it wasn't that Wan Guangxiao wanted to save face. He just didn't want to be involved in these troublesome matters. If they took action and captured Randolph, how to deal with him would be a problem. It would be better to just throw him to Su Yun. He could kill him or torture him as he pleased. With these people's situation, it's meaningless to hand them over to the police. Since you're here, you should think of a way to take him away. Su Yun smiled. The chief doesn't want to get involved in this trouble. I don't want to either. It's easier for you to deal with it than for me. Hua Leiteng smiled helplessly. The chief is really wise. He told me before we came that he knew you would say this to us. A father knows his son best. We grew up under the chief's watch. It's normal for the chief to know what kind of person our boss is. Han Zhan smiled as well. Boss, we'll take them away and deal with them. If we can prevent them from leaving, we definitely won't let them leave. Tell the chief that this person can do a lot of things. Su Yun smiled evilly. Even if he's not in New York, he can control the Gambino family, which is the largest of the 5 great families. Even the American government made use of them to find information about Matthew. I think it's not too much for us to make use of him to get some information, right? Everyone smiled knowingly. This was not a random spy operation. If the other party was willing to talk, the mouth was on the other party's mouth. They could not block their ears 24 hours a day. Even if they heard anything, there was no other way. Boss, you're still the worst. Hua Xiaolu said, before we leave, I have something to tell you. Beautiful Sis said that you left a personal item in her dormitory. When you have time, remember to go back and get it from her. Everyone kicked up a fuss and asked Su Yun what personal item he had left behind. Was it underwear or something else? Su Yun kicked this group of people away before leaving the warehouse at Pier 5. He went to the place Lin Gu had told him to drive back. He did not know if the guy who had been punched by Sydney was dead or not. As long as he could hold on for half an hour, he would not die. If he could not even hold on for half an hour, even if he was a god, he would not be able to save him. This was an injury to the heart meridian, not an internal injury. This injury also required the victim's desire to live. Most of the time, under such serious injuries, the desire to live was a miraculous elixir. As long as the injured had the desire to live, then there would be a chance to save them. In this half an hour, Su Yun wanted to see Song Qingzhu's desire to live. If his desire to live was not strong, there would be no point in saving him. It would be a waste of energy. However, Song Qingzhu did not disappoint Su Yun. When Su Yun rushed back, not only was this guy not dead, but he was also much calmer than before. This guy was not simple. He could still calmly wait for a chance to live when his life was hanging by a thread. Interesting. Brother, why are you only back now? Hurry up and see if he can be saved. Bai Xiaoye was the person who did not want Song Qingzhu to die the most. She did not want to bear such a sin. After all, this person was injured to save her. Chapter 1178. I have a dragon gall healing pill here. Feed it to him with warm water first. Su Yun passed a green porcelain bottle to Bai Xiaoye. Wait for the pill to take effect in half an hour. Leave the rest to me. Bai Xiaoye took the pill. Although she had grown up with Zhuolang Yue and had seen all kinds of pills, she was still shocked by the pill that Su Yun took out. It was definitely not an ordinary pill. As the #1 expert in the underground world, how could Zhuolang Yue not be proficient in alchemy? Bai Xiaoye had heard from her that the Gentian Meridian pill could only be made with the flowers and fruits of Putuo goose ear. Otherwise, the effects of the various rare and precious herbs in the Gentian Meridian pill could not be combined into one. The fruit of Putuo gelsemium was too precious. It was a deciduous tree that only existed in Huaxia. There was only one Putuo gelsemium in the entire Huaxia. It was located on the west side of the Huiji Temple on Putuo Floating Mountain, and it was definitely a protected plant in the country. Although a large number of saplings of Putuo gelsemium had been bred through technology and saved it from extinction, only the fruit of Putuo gelsemium that grew naturally had the value of being used as medicine. The ones cultivated by humans were nothing compared to it. Moreover, refining the dragon gall healing pill was definitely not something that an ordinary person could do. Bai Xiaoye even suspected that Zhuolang Yue might not be able to refine it. Of course, this pill was not refined by Su Yun. It was given to him by Wu Qiuzi to save his life. When Wu Qiuzi gave him this pill, she said that unless his heart meridians were severely damaged and he could die if he did not treat it in time, he should not use it. He did not have any more fruits from the Putuo goose ear stalactite to refine this treasure. Su Yun knew very well that if Wu Qiuzi said that it was a treasure, it would definitely be a rare treasure. If he was willing to give it to an outsider, he might regret it later. Brother, did you say that this is the dragon gall healing pill that was refined with the fruit of Putuo gelsemium? Lin Gu was in disbelief. Is this guy's life power worth the pill? Brother, isn't this inappropriate? Those who did not know the value of this item might not think much of it, but those who knew the value of this item would definitely think that it was not worth it. Even Bai Xiaoye, who was eager to save people, hesitated. If I say it's worth it, it's worth it. Su Yun, to put it bluntly, I'm not willing to take out this pill to save people. Although Song Qingzhu helped us, he's still one of Wei Yishan's people. I have no obligation to save him. I just don't want my sister to feel uneasy for the rest of her life because of his death. Su Yun's medicine wasn't to save Song Qingzhu, but Bai Xiaoye. If Song Qingzhu really died because of this, Bai Xiaoye would definitely feel guilty for the rest of her life. Su Yun had experienced this kind of torture before, so he didn't want Bai Xiaoye to feel the same kind of pressure. It was worth it for Su Yun to spend the pill so that Bai Xiaoye wouldn't have to worry about it for the rest of her life. Brother, thank you. Bai Xiaoye was so touched that she didn't know what to say. After Song Qingzhu consumed the pill that was more valuable than his life, color returned to his face very soon. Under the effect of the pill, Song Qingzhu's heart meridian was soon stabilized. Of course, this was only stabilizing. If he wanted to recover as soon as possible, Su Yun still needed the help of silver needles and true qi. Since Su Yun couldn't be disturbed during this process, everyone cooperated and left to give Su Yun some space to complete the treatment. Moreover, it was getting late, and everyone was more or less in shock, so they should rest early. Su Yun was worried that Song Qingzhu's ability was too high, so he asked Lin Gu to stay and help. Bai Xiaoye volunteered, but when she heard that she had to remove Song Qingzhu's clothes and insert needles into 188 acupuncture points, she gave the opportunity to Lin Gu. That night, Su Yun and Lin Gu didn't sleep at all. They spent a total of 4 hours to pull Song Qingzhu back from the gates of hell. Bai Xiaoye didn't sleep at all. She stood guard at the door. If this person couldn't be saved, she wouldn't be able to sleep at all. Su Yun and Lin Gu worked the whole night and were drenched in sweat. They circulated their true qi and meditated for a long time before they recovered their true qi and stamina. At this time, the sky was starting to brighten. Song Qingzhu opened his eyes. His qi and blood were flowing smoothly, as if he had been reborn. Even though he was on the verge of death yesterday, his consciousness was still there. He knew that it was Su Yun's pill that was more valuable than his life that saved him. He also knew that it was all because of Bai Xiaoye. Otherwise, he would have lost his life. The full-strength punch of an 8th-grade fighter was no joke. Song Qingzhu sat up on the bed. Seeing Su Yun and Lin Gu meditating, he didn't dare to disturb them. He waited until Su Yun and Lin Gu recovered their true qi and stamina before he coughed lightly to indicate that he was awake. "Oh, not bad. You recovered quickly." Su Yun was stunned. He thought that Song Qingzhu would sleep for at least another hour. "Pigeon, go and call Xiaoye. Let her rest." "No need. I'll be at the door." Bai Xiaoye, who was outside the door, heard the noise in the room. She said lightly, "It's good that he's not dead. I'm going to sleep." Then, she left. Lin Gu shrugged and made a helpless expression. He said to Song Qingzhu, "You're lucky. If it wasn't for my brother and Bai Xiaoye, you would have already signed in at the King of Hell." Song Qingzhu smiled. He knew all this. "Brother Yun, I can't thank you enough. Qingzhu's life is worthless. I didn't expect you to do so much for me. You're like this because of Xiaoye." Su Yun waved his hand. "We don't owe each other anything. After all, you're Buddha Wei's man. We don't share the same path." Song Qingzhu suddenly knelt in front of Su Yun. "Brother Yun, Wei Yishan and I are the ones who don't share the same path." "What do you mean?" Su Yun was stunned. This guy knelt too quickly. Lin Gu was shocked by Song Qingzhu's reaction. Was this guy's brain flooded? "When I was on the brink of death, you saved me. It has nothing to do with Wei Yishan." Song Qingzhu said, "I, Song Qingzhu, am a person who knows how to repay kindness. My life was given to me by you, so from now on, it's yours. I will not hesitate to climb a mountain of blades or dive into a sea of fire." Su Yun hurriedly refused. "No, no, no. I saved you because we owe you. Consider it as returning the favor. You don't owe us anything. You don't have to take it to heart. If you're fine, you can leave. I'm going to die soon. I don't owe you anything." Song Qingzhu said, "Brother Yun, if you don't accept me, I'll kneel for a long time." "This guy is really..." "Then kneel." Su Yun said, "We're all tired. It's time to go back and sleep. When you're tired, you can leave. I won't ask you to stay for dinner. Go out and turn left. There's a famous restaurant 500 meters away. It's called Fried Dumplings. It's very affordable." Su Yun turned and left. He didn't give Song Qingzhu a chance to speak. Lin Gu also ran out after Su Yun. He even stuck out his tongue. This guy was too ridiculous. Su Yun believed that with Song Qingzhu's personality, he would leave soon. He didn't expect Song Qingzhu to owe him anything. He just wanted to help Bai Xiaoye repay this favor. Chapter 1179. However, no one would have thought that there would always be evil people. Song Qingzhu, this brat, actually knelt down and did not get up. Su Yun slept for 5 hours, and Song Qingzhu knelt there for 5 hours. No one could pull him up. He was determined. Unless Su Yun agreed to let him stay, he would kneel until he died. Lin Gu coaxed and lied, coerced and bribed. He used all kinds of tricks, but Song Qingzhu didn't listen to him. She was stubborn. Bai Xiaoye was puzzled. She felt that this guy was not so stubborn and decided to talk to him personally. If you really want to kneel like this, no one will stop you. However, this room is not a place where you can stay as you wish. Bai Xiaoye said angrily, "If you really want to kneel and prove your sincerity, no problem. Go out and kneel for as long as you want. No one will disturb you. Do you think I will leave if you provoke me like this?" Song Qingzhu looked up at Bai Xiaoye. "I am serious. I am not joking." "But we're not joking with you." Bai Xiaoye was speechless. "You saved me, and I owe you a favor. We also saved your life, so we are even. What else do you want?" No one said that if we save you once, we have to take care of you for the rest of your life. Song Qingzhu was very serious. I don't need to be taken care of. After I follow Brother Yun, I will work for him. No matter what it is, as long as he asks me to do it, I will do it. He gave me my life. I owe him a life. If I don't repay him like this, I will not be able to answer to myself. Who asked you to answer to yourself? Are you crazy? Bai Xiaoye could not communicate with him. What do you think you can do if you stay? We don't need you. Song Qingzhu shook his head. Maybe we don't need me for the rest of our lives, but if we do, I promise Brother Yun will not regret it. Bai Xiaoye looked at Song Qingzhu with disdain. Can you block a bullet for him or take a knife for him? Mr. Song Qingzhu, since you can't do anything, then don't shamelessly stay here. You're really annoying. No matter what you say, as long as Brother Yun doesn't chase me away, I won't leave. After Song Qingzhu finished speaking, she felt that what she said was wrong, so she added, even if you chase me away, I won't leave. If it weren't for the girl's modesty, Bai Xiaoye would have scolded him for being shameless. Why was there no end to this? Su Yun, who had finally woken up, received the news from Lin Gu. He washed his face and walked over. When he pushed open the door, he happened to hear the conversation between the two. Su Yun was really quite surprised. Why was this brat so dead set on it? If you really want to stay, then do something for me. Su Yun, if you do it well, I'll let you work for me. If you can't do it well, then I'm sorry. Brother Yun, even if you ask me to take Wei Yishan's head, I won't hesitate, Song Qingzhu said seriously. Even if I do it well, it's fine if you don't want me to work for you. Really, it doesn't matter. Why are you like Lu Bu? You just acknowledged him as your master, but you don't even blink when you kill him. I'm afraid no one would dare to keep someone like you, right? Su Yun smiled slightly. Song Qingzhu, do you know why people call you the Army Destroyer? The Army Destroyer is a suicide squad in the army. It's the vanguard, the type that charges and breaks through enemy lines. Its purpose is to fight and destroy, but it's also very dangerous. It's inevitable to lose soldiers and generals. Not everyone wants a double-edged sword like you. Song Qingzhu didn't say anything. He understood what Su Yun meant. If Su Yun continued, he would also understand. You do things your own way. You like the new and hate the old. You're stubborn and rebellious. You're not easy to cooperate with. Also, you're very inflexible. Whenever you encounter something, you refute it. Su Yun, am I right? Bai Xiaoye rolled her eyes. You have so many personality flaws. A person like you is only suitable to live alone. Really? Song Qingzhu grinned awkwardly. No way. I don't have so many personality flaws, right? Brother Yun, you're making me want to commit suicide. I don't have the courage to live anymore. Let's talk about serious matters. What do you want me to do for you to accept me? It's very simple. You don't have to kill people or set fires. What I want you to do is to find a reason to convince me, Su Yun said. What I want you to do is to think of a way to make me accept you. Song Qingzhu almost choked when he heard this. Isn't this too much of a burden? Big Brother Yun, no. Even if I convince you and you're convinced, who am I going to look for to comment on it? Song Qingzhu said, no, you have to find a fair way for me. Otherwise, I won't agree. There's only one way. If you don't think of a way, then leave. Su Yun was also very determined. Song Qingzhu felt like she was going to die of embarrassment. What can I say about this? Back then, my brother told me that people like me are marked by the company I keep. People like me tend to turn bad when I meet bad friends, but when I meet good friends, I can often bring out my strengths. I don't know if he's right or not. Today, I want to follow Brother Yun because I feel that I should believe my brother's words. Su Yun was stunned. This kid is quite understanding. What about your brother? You should really spend more time with him. You'll definitely be marked by the company you keep. I want to, but unfortunately he's dead, Song Qingzhu said and lowered his head. Su Yun was silent for a moment before saying, "All right, stand up." "If you don't accept me, I won't stand." Song Qingzhu was still stubborn. "Aren't I asking you to stand?" Su Yun said, "Let's make things clear first. I gave you a chance. If I asked you to stand up, you wouldn't agree. Then you can kneel. No one will care about you. I don't want a cripple who only knows how to kneel." Song Qingzhu, "A man's knees are gold. You've lived so long in vain." "Brother Yun, what do you mean?" Song Qingzhu was stunned, then he was wild with joy. "Brother Yun, if I stand up, it means that you'll accept me? Is that what you mean? Are you a pig?" Bai Xiaoye was speechless. She didn't know why, but she didn't expect Su Yun to let this person stay. However, when Su Yun really did let this person stay, she felt relieved. Su Yun didn't wait for Song Qingzhu to finish his excitement and poured cold water on him. "Let me say this first. I know what kind of person you are, Song Qingzhu. Everyone knows it too. If you stay, you'll develop in the red. If you lead me to the underworld, don't blame me for cleaning you up personally. If I dare to be disloyal, I'll do anything for you." Song Qingzhu pointed to the sky and swore. Bai Xiaoye looked at Song Qingzhu and then at Su Yun. "Brother, what can he do if you want him to stay? Watch over the place, collect debts, collect protection fees, and stand around when he has nothing to do. These are all things he can do." Su Yun had arranged everything. Song Qingzhu was shocked. "No way, brother. Only hooligans do these things. I can't. No, our Chanyu group doesn't have these kinds of jobs, right?" "Oh, you're quite familiar with us," Bai Xiaoye said. "You just said, 'our,' in a few sentences. Okay, what can you do? Ask Sister Shuang. She'll arrange it for you. The Qingdao Film and Television Plaza is so big. There must be a place for you to stay. Even if you're working in the logistics and sanitation department, they'll give you a tricycle with the words 'Protect Purity' printed on it." Hearing that Su Yun had arranged a job for Song Qingzhu, Bai Xiaoye was anxious. "What about me? What can I do?" "Sister Shuang said that you'll be her assistant in the future." "Su Yun, after training you for 3 to 5 weeks, you can't just be an assistant. You'll have to carry the burden of a vice president too. Understand?" Bai Xiaoye nodded. Since she was already in this society, she had to get used to it. She had to learn how to face it. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.